Tennessee deferred to the second half. Monroe will be kicking off to the Volunteers. Eric Parker is the punt returner. The kick returner, of course, is Leonard Scott, and occasionally Eric Locke drops back there with him, but right now Leonard Scott. Steve Honeycutt is the punter for the Indians, and David Francis is the kickoff man, and they both have had some problems, especially Honeycutt against Minnesota. He had punts of 2 and 9 yards, and they both were turned into touchdowns, and they had another one in return for 60 yards and a touchdown. So kicking has been somewhat of a problem. This one is going to be high, and it's going to be short, and a fair catch will be signaled for by Tennessee, and they'll put it in play in very good position to start this ball game with A.J. Suggs operating at quarterback. Fleming was the up man who caught it and got the fair catch. He alternates at fullback with the starter Bartholomew. This is an unusual defense, Terrence, in that they play 3 safeties, 2 linebackers, 4-man front, 2 corners, of course. So it's a 4-2-5 situation. Tennessee with wideouts to the left, and they hand it to the bread and butter man, and he's still bouncing and fighting for yardage. Gets a little bit up shy of the 30-yard line. Travis Henry on the carry, and Carlton Washington, left cornerback, was the primary stopper. Offensive line: Finlinson, Coleman, Herrera. Well starts in place of Weary at center today. Offenhusel and Munoz. Very, very young. Not a senior on the starting offensive line. Back to the I formation. Receiver set on each side, and Suggs wants to throw. Fires it complete up to the 41-yard line. And it's complete to Eric Parker.
Bob, that's a great throw by A.J. Suggs. Tennessee goes with a deep curl route by Eric Parker. I think trying to give A.J. Suggs some confidence coming into the ball game.
Starting defensive line: Conde, Malavo, Butcher, and Bertrand up front. The linebackers: Saunier and Robinson. And the secondary: Washington, Whitehead, Robinson, Buckles, and Lee. Pretty good secondary, as a matter of fact. Out of the I formation, A.J. Suggs sends a receiver on each side. And off. A little bit of a delay to Henry. Getting outside, still fighting for yardage up close to midfield, just shy of the midfield mark before the Indians drive him out of bounds. Travis Henry off to a great start this year, and personally, I think should be included, Terrence, in the Heisman race right now.
And I think, Bob, as he continues to play the way he's played, he will be in the Heisman race. One of the great things about Travis Henry is you talk about the yards after initial contact, and he's great at that with his stiff arm and with the strength in his legs.
Light rain has started to fall, and the people are breaking out the rain gear here in Neyland Stadium. Hand off again to Henry, straight ahead, got hit and got another yard, maybe a 2 on his own after being hit at the line of scrimmage. Stop was made by Cedric Robinson, strong safety on the left side. Volunteers moving with the football. It's enough for a first down. It moves the chains, 1st and 10. So the rain could play somewhat of a factor here in the ball game, although right now it's extremely light. And the field is in such great condition. We won't have to worry about field condition. It would simply be a slippery ball. Here is A.J. firing long, intercepted. Tennessee receiver Stallworth fell down, intercepted and taken back to the 10-yard line, to the 20, and out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Really, it's not really Suggs' fault. Tennessee's Stallworth fell down, or he might not have caught it, but he probably would have prevented the interception.
The wide receiver, as you said, fell down on the route. And Tennessee decided to take a shot down the field, something that the wide receivers talked about. They felt like Tennessee had it done last week against Florida, would have been effective. A.J. Suggs making a deep throw down the field, something we haven't seen him do because of his questionable arm strength. And Louisiana-Monroe comes up with a great play because of the fall of Dante Stallworth.
It was Whitehead who intercepted the football. And so Andy Chance sends his team on offense, and nothing doing right there as they try to crash in on the left side of the line, and Mark Henderson is the ball carrier. The starting offensive line: Daniel, Pink, Wright, Luna, and McGinnis. And the receivers: Adams, Brown, Carter, Stevenson. The tailback, Jacobs and Henderson, alternate almost on each play at that position. That was Henderson on the first carry of the ball game. It really picked up maybe a yard, and we're giving him maybe a half yard on that. So second down and at least 9 to go at the 26-yard line of the Indians. Back to Chance at tailback, shotgun position, and he throws out here in the flat complete. It's short of a first down, but a pretty good catch that time by Darryl Carter. They use no tight end. They use 4 receivers at times 5. Starting defensive line for Tennessee: Lloyd, Henderson, Kendrick, and Overstreet. You'll see a lot of people in there today. Westmoreland, Stevenson, and Sessions. Outstanding trio of linebackers. Miles, Gaines, Lott, and the true freshman Baker at free safety. There are other youngsters like Jabari Greer, Kevin Burnett, that we probably will see in that secondary today as well. They send 3 wideouts to the left this time. Chance goes on the shotgun once again, being pressured really big time by Will the Thrill Overstreet.
Overstreet made an outstanding play on the rollout by the quarterback from Louisiana-Monroe. Just really came through almost unblocked. The guy didn't even get a good shot on Overstreet, and Overstreet's one of the leaders on Tennessee defense.
All right, it will be Steve Honeycutt back to punt now for the Indians, and remember, that has been an adventure this year so far for Monroe. He gets a pretty good kick out of there this time, though, and Eric Parker will field it at the 40, 45, looking for some running room, and pretty good coverage that time by the Indians to drive him down shy of the 50. We've got 11:45 remaining in the first quarter here in Knoxville, and your score is Tennessee 0, Monroe 0. Vols go back on offense now. Had a pass interception stop their first drive. The punt was good, by the way, for 43 yards, and the return for 10. So Monroe probably thrilled with that punt, considering the problems that they have had this year. An official had called timeout, not charged to either team here. Travis Henry has just passed Charlie Garner, by the way, on the all-time rushing list. He is now number 7 with 2,090 yards. So he will, I think we have figured it out. Terrence, he needs to average about, what, 90 a game for the rest of the year to become number 1.
And I think that's something that's well within his reach based on the first 2 ball games of this year and based on the way he's playing today.
And certainly you have to give an awful lot of credit to Tennessee's young offensive line. Really, really impressive last week against the Florida Gators, and their well-publicized front 4. They had virtually no trouble with them. As a matter of fact, it was the lapse in the defense late in the ball game that created the major problems, and of course some questionable calls along the way, but that's history now. Here is Suggs back, fires out in the flat, complete. Played a little too far off of the receiver. Tennessee is out of bounds with Eric Parker down around the first down marker. One guy who has been absent this year, so to speak, in Tennessee's passing scheme so far, Terrence, has been David Martin. I know he's banged up a little bit at one time, but we haven't seen much of him.
Tennessee goes with what is called their quick game, passing game. It's a 3-step drop by A.J. Suggs, and really gets the ball out there well. You're right, Bob. David Martin has almost disappeared. He's a guy that came in as a freshman, very heralded, a big guy you thought would be the Alvin Harper to Carl Pickens type, but he's basically been non-existent, and I think last game went out of the game with a concussion.
Tennessee has yet to go to the tight end also, and Finlayson, of course, is a big guy who's not really fleet of foot, but he's never dropped a pass.
And Tennessee may start to use a tight end some, probably not in this ball game, but as they get into the heart of the SEC schedule, the tight end may become a factor, and they may start using them a little more.
Especially when Neil Johnson returns. Now, they did move Jason Witten this past week to tight end from defensive end, and I understand in practice he looked pretty good, so we may see him some today.
He's a good athlete that can play on either side of the football.
The chains were brought in. It appeared to be enough for a first down. They were stretched, and, well, it was a little bit shot. So they need a few more inches to go for a first down. Second down. Rain is pretty steady right now. Not interfering with the game yet, but interfering with the fans. Quarterback sneak. A.J. Suggs. This time he held on to the football, and it was successful for the first down, moving it to the 40-yard line of the Indians. At some point, we will see the heralded quarterback from California, Casey Clausen. It remains to be seen at what stage they will put him in, and it's going to depend on the ebb and flow of the football game, of course. Tennessee with the receivers, two on the bottom of your screen there, one at the top. Suggs back, keeps the fullback for protection, goes over the middle, it's complete. And it's complete to the man we talked about a moment ago, David Martin.
Tennessee makes Louisiana-Monroe pay on that. They brought both linebackers on a blitz. Suggs did a great job of reading the defense, getting the ball to David Martin.
Looked like Bartholomew probably picked up one of the blitzers right there.
Yeah, Tennessee does a great job of picking up the blitz. Ball gets to David Martin, and that's a scenario where David Martin can be very effective inside, working on the linebackers and the strong safety.
Inside the 30, so it's first down and 10 to go for the Volunteers. Send a man in motion to the bottom of your screen. A.J. Suggs hands off to his tailback. Big hole for Travis, and he rumbles down across the 20 to the 18-yard line. Good running that time by the Tennessee tailback. Mark Porter made the stop out of the secondary.
Give to Henry. You're not going to be successful tackling Travis Henry with your shoulder. You're going to have to bring your whole body, and you're going to have to gain tackle to be successful against Travis Henry.
Homecoming for the Volunteers. Over 100,000 here in Knoxville watching today. I'm glad you could watch with us wherever you are. Suggs. Two receivers set to the right. One comes in motion. Fullback stays in. And following the fullback is Travis Henry, and Bartholomew led him through to close to the 15-yard line before the stop is made by Cedric Robinson, the left side strong safety. Remember, they use three safeties in the Indians' defensive scheme of things. Two linebackers, two corners, of course.
Just a straight give to Travis Henry. Looks like almost the same play as last. Louisiana-Monroe doing a good job of stopping the play for a minimal gain.
Tennessee still looking to get on the scoreboard, and we've got 9:50 to go in the first quarter. Had a chance earlier, this pass way too high, intended for Wilson. It's over his head and out of bounds, and so A.J. let that one slip away. The ball probably is getting a little bit slippery out there. They try to keep it as dry as possible under these conditions, and actually put a towel over it or pick it up and dry it off before the center reaches for it. The center again is Scott Wells, and he's very, very good. He's playing in place of the best offensive lineman Tennessee's got, Fred Weary, who has a high ankle sprain and did not even dress for this game today. Here's A.J. under pressure, the shuffle pass, and it's going to be down to the 5-yard line. Travis Stevens out of Clarksville, Tennessee, rambling and rolling. I thought for a second that one might be batted down, Terrence, but they did a good job on it.
Looked like it. Tennessee going with a new wrinkle out of the set we saw them use a lot. Travis Stevens doing a great job of breaking tackles. But one thing about it is Tennessee is in the orange area, the orange zone, where they had a lot of problems last week getting the ball in the end zone. Let's see if they're successful today.
Ball is first down at the 5-yard line. First and goal for A.J. Suggs and the offense. The give is to Travis Henry. He's still fighting. He didn't get a whole lot of yardage, though. Pretty good job by the Indians of stringing it out on the left side and bringing him down. So Tennessee in the orange zone, as Terrence pointed out, where last week, time after time, they were in there and came away with a great performance by the field goal kicker. And in fact, he's leading the nation right now. Walls, and they want him leading the nation in extra points, not field goals. Here's the give again to Travis. This time he battles to the 2-yard line, maybe the 1.5, before he is stopped.
Tennessee going with this bread and butter in the orange area. Travis Henry, I think they're going to try to knock it in with him down here, Bob. Send a message to Louisiana-Monroe.
At some point, guys in the truck, we need to get a shot of number 79. He's probably on the sideline, but at your leisure, do that, because I want to see what a guy who weighs 420 pounds looks like. Here's A.J. Suggs, 3rd down and 2. Look for Travis. You got him, and he's over. Touchdown, Travis Henry. Tennessee on top, 6-0 with the extra point coming up. You were right, Terrence. Just feed it to the big man.
I think Tennessee's going with the strength of its offense, giving the ball to Travis Henry, really giving the young offensive line some confidence, and really a non-confidence issue for Louisiana-Monroe.
Nothing as demoralizing as having the ball just stuffed down your throat, especially on a long drive. It can demoralize a defense more so even than a successful passing attack because it wears you down so much physically. Here's Alex Walls up to remain perfect on the season. And Tennessee leads 7-0.
Just a straight ahead give to Travis Henry. The strength of Tennessee offensive line just too much for Louisiana-Monroe.
Good surge.
Great surge, and Henry goes over the top for the first Tennessee score.
So it sets the stage. 8 minutes, 9 seconds remaining in a rainy first quarter in Knoxville. Homecoming with Tennessee on top, 7-0 over Louisiana-Monroe. Well, some folks who came prepared for the rain because it certainly was in the forecast. It held off until just after the kickoff. We did have a little light shower activity in the city last night, but so far it hasn't really been a factor. There's the scoring drive, 10 plays, 52 yards, consumed 336 with Henry's 1-yard run as the capper. But what you call a power drive for Tennessee. Now it will be Tennessee kicking off. Derek Williamson will kick off. David Leverton has a slight ankle problem. He will punt, but he will not. Well, this is Stephen Lee. We were told that Williamson would be the one, but now I see it's number 35, Stephen Lee, who will kick off. Leverton will do the punting today, but he will not kick off because of the slight ankle sprain, which he suffered in the Florida game. Here's Stephen Lee getting his kick away, and it's a pretty good one down to the 4-yard line. Indians with a little bit of a wedge out to the 25, 26-yard line before the stop is made. H.J. Adams, the wide receiver. Another look at the TD, Terrence.
Great surge by Tennessee offensive line. That's what you want your offense to do, to take that first drive, chew up some of the clock, and put the ball in the end zone.
H.J. Adams' return was pretty good one for 22 yards. It sets him up at the 26-yard line where it's 1st down and 10 to go for Andy Chance, a sophomore, but a pretty good quarterback. He can throw, he can run. They've turned out some pretty good quarterbacks. One of them is on the staff, Stan Humphries, who quarterbacked the Chargers. Another one is Bubby Brister, who went to Monroe. Here's the ball loose, intercepted in midair, and it'll be a ball touchdown, Andrew Luck.
Great play by the Tennessee defense, Bob. One of the things you want your defense to do, you want your defense to create turnover, but when they can score off that turnover, it just makes it that much better.
Picked it off in midair, the fumble, and returned it untouched for the touchdown. Heads up play by several volunteers on that one, including Lott. And now Walls right back in to try another extra point. Good story on this young man in today's Knoxville Sentinel. It's up there, and it is good. Very quiet guy, and David Leverton had a class with him. He said behind him he didn't even know for a while that he was in the class. Never said anything to him. Here's the replay.
Little dump out route to the back. Trying to see who caused the fumble there. I think it was Eric Westmoreland.
Westmoreland, yeah.
Andre Lott being very aware, making a great play. I'll tell you the thing about Andre Lott is Andre Lott has done everything that the coaches expected him to do. He moved to free safety, he moved to strong safety, and he's been effective. He was a preseason All-SEC hit cornerback, so I don't think you could ask the secondary guy to do any more. Eric Westmoreland just showing you that speed that Tennessee has at the linebacker position, creating a turnover. Andre Lott converting it to 6.
Brian Jacobs, the tailback, doesn't let it get away from him, partly because of the defense. And then Lott in the right spot at the right time, carried it on in. Westmoreland gets credit for really shaking the ball loose. As we have repeatedly said, and it bears repeating because Tennessee's trio of linebackers, Westmoreland, Stevenson, and Sessions, I don't think there's any trio in America that runs any better than they do, and certainly they're all hitters as well. So linebacker, barring an injury, is not a problem.
Linebacker is one of the strengths of the Tennessee defense, and in a position that has become the leader of the Tennessee defense since Al Wilson came to Tennessee and was a great player and an All-American.
Stephen Lee will kick off once again. Gets it up pretty high, and it's going to be taken at about the 7-yard line. Out across the 15 and buried at about the 23-yard line is H.J. Adams, who's a wide receiver but also a kickoff return specialist. And Buck Fitzgerald was one of the leaders down there. There's Buck, number 36, out of Nashville, Pearl Cone, who led the charge. Teammate of Big John Henderson's in high school. Terrence and I did the opening down on the field, and John Henderson was within a couple of feet of us. I tell you what, it's like looking at a statue, you know, a big monument somewhere in a park. This guy is enormous.
He makes me wonder when and where I played college football.
All right, Tennessee's defense digs in. Andy Chance will try to get some offense going here down the line on the late pitch out. Swings it out pretty good. It's going to be close to a first down before he is knocked out of bounds. Mark Henderson, the tailback, doing a nice job on the sweep that time. Secondary had to come over and knock him out of bounds, but it should be close to a first down, and it is enough, as the referee, who is Tom Ritter, signals for the first down marker to be moved. 7:34 remaining. The light rain continues to fall on the homecoming crowd here in Knoxville, which means even more orange in sight because all of the rain gear is orange. Chance has 3 receivers set to the top of your screen. Lone tailback, he gives it off to the tailback, who found a little quick opening there. A little quick pop that time as the tailback slashed through. That's Mark Henderson, and the stop was made by Dominic Stevenson, the middle linebacker, but they were trying to catch Tennessee, and they did a little bit there, Terrence.
Louisiana-Monroe does a lot of things out of their offensive set. I was able to talk to John Chavis on Thursday. He said until we get a feel for what they're doing offensively, they could give us some problems early in the ball game.
It's wide open. It's called by many the West Coast offense. No tight end, 4 receivers, at times 5 receivers. They do keep the fullback in this time for blocking purposes, and Tennessee put a rush on him, but he got his pass away chance and completed it into about the vicinity of the 44-yard line. That's where Mark Vincent, the wide receiver, went down. Stop was made by Buck Fitzgerald.
Louisiana-Monroe goes with the shotgun, which gives Chance a better chance of looking down the field, but just because the Tennessee pass rush has been so fast and so effective.
Monroe with a little bit of an offense going right here. Couple of first downs, and they're sitting right now on the 44-yard line, their own 44, where it's first down and 10. See what kind of pressure the ball is put on him. If it's straight ahead or if they blitz. It's straight ahead, and it's sufficient. We're Eric Westmoreland right in the middle of things once again, and the Tennessee linebacker, outside linebacker, made the stop. Westmoreland, one of the captains on this team, has played extremely well. As we talked about the things that they do offensively, Bob, against Minnesota, Chance ran this same option play and ran it for a touchdown. So we're going to see him run the football, throw the football. He's going to be wide open. He ran it for actually 29 yards in that ball game on one particular play and scored, as Terrence said. 2 receivers set on each side. Chance goes in the shotgun once again. Tennessee puts a great deal of pressure on him. My goodness, Westmoreland almost decapitated him. Whoa. Got to admire him for getting up there. Number 42 like a rocket in there. He's going to take those kind of shots all day. The number of times he throws the ball, Tennessee's not going to allow him to sit back and throw the ball without some pressure. This time they bring Eric Westmoreland up the middle, and he gets there, and it's a huge impact when he gets to the football, Bob. Oh. Will Overstreet, but number 90, was right there if Westmoreland had missed, but Westmoreland did not miss. So it becomes 3rd down and 10. Let's see what they have in the bag of tricks right here. 2 receivers. 3 now as the man in motion comes back to the bottom of the screen. Chance throws out there, hit and knocked out of bounds immediately, and not enough for a first down. Darrell Carter was the receiver for the Indians. Eddie Gaines was the man primarily responsible for pushing him out of bounds.
Louisiana-Monroe is going to roll Chance out on this play. Teddy Gaines comes up, really not allowing the receiver to advance down the field far enough to pick up the first down. Good coverage by Gaines.
Eric Parker back to receive the Indians punt. And Eric drifts under it at the 6-yard line. Looks for some running room. Gets to the outside. Not quite. Cuts it back and loses a couple of yards on the cutback. But he was just about 2 inches away from getting to the sidelines, and he would have been long gone.
2 unusual punt returns by Eric Parker. On the first 2 ball games, he did a good job of doing what you want a return guy to do, is catch the ball and get it right upfield. I don't know if these plays are designed or what, but Eric Parker very close to getting to the corner, but that's going to be tough to do if your coverage is good, Bob.
5:24 remaining in quarter number 1 in rainy Knoxville. Homecoming. The Volunteers 14, Louisiana-Monroe nothing. Glad you could join us today, young fan. Ignoring the rain. It's very comfortable temperature-wise. Long about the Kentucky game, though, when we see that cold rain and combination of sleet and snow. We'll be thankful for a day like this, Terrence.
And the players will be also.
You're in the Tennessee huddle right there. Vols on top 14-0. Came in favored by 35. That last punt, by the way, was 45 yards and a 6-yard return. He actually ran about 40 yards, but he had a 6-yard return. Eric Parker. A.J. Suggs has gone all the way at quarterback. Went all the way in the Florida game. A.J. stands back, fires out the flat complete. And Dante Stallworth is going to be pushed out of bounds by 2 or 3 Indians out of the secondary after picking up some positive yards. There's Dante, who Coach Philip Fulmer says has the chance to be one of the all-time great receivers at the University of Tennessee, and that's saying a mouthful when you look at the guys that have gone on to the NFL from UT.
He's a special player, Bob, that has a lot of ability. If you get him the ball in a certain situation, he can take it the distance. The play they just ran was the play that he scored on against Southern Miss.
Tennessee now looking at a 2nd and 3, and they send the tailback straight ahead for the first down. That's Travis Stevens, who's 5'9". Listed as 180. I kind of think he might be a little heavier than that. I think he's up around 190 really right now.
Travis Stevens really bucked up in the year that he took off and gave Tennessee a spark last week against Florida, giving them a different look at tailback and spelling Travis Henry a little bit, allowing him to get a much-needed rest.
We talked about number 79 earlier. 6'6", 420 pounds. That may be the biggest lineman in the history of the game, but he's on the sideline. A.J.'s pass incomplete, miscommunication with the receiver. Cedric Wilson running straight down the field. Obviously, A.J. thought it was going to be sort of a curl pattern out there, or a sideline pattern, and just misunderstanding between the two.
And those are some of the growing pains of having a young quarterback and trying to get on the same page with the wide receiver. A.J. coming into the season was a dark horse in the quarterback race, so he didn't get a lot of practice time with the starting wide receivers, and it's going to take some time for those guys to gel.
Got to believe that's probably A.J.'s fault, because Cedric's been around here a long time. He knows the pattern. Here's A.J. firing. This time it is a good pass, a rocket over there. Dante Stallworth past the first down marker, and the chains will move. So that time A.J. exhibited some arm strength, Terrence.
He did, and he showed some poise as a quarterback. He threw the ball only where his guy could catch it, and that's what you want a quarterback to do on the out route. You don't want him to be late. Puts the ball where only Dante Stallworth can catch it. First down for Tennessee.
That's sufficient arm strength, folks. Tennessee with a first down and 10. 4:43 remaining in the quarter here in Knoxville. The light rain continues to fall. The lights are on. Here's A.J. rolling, throwing across his body, complete. Gets out to Eric Parker, and Eric Parker is off to the races. Down to the 20. 10-5, touchdown, Eric Parker. .68 yards. What a an exciting player Eric Parker is. And a good play by A.J. Suggs. Good play to the offensive line.
Eric Parker's been outstanding for Tennessee in the first 2 ball games as a punt returner. Been almost non-existent as a wide receiver. Tennessee rolls A.J. Suggs, gets the ball to Parker, and Parker makes that play on his own, Bob. Just an outstanding play by Eric Parker.
Alex Wall's in for the extra point. It's up there, and he remains perfect on the season. Extra points, field goals. Coach Philip Fulmer rather pleased with his play. Terrence.
Tennessee rolls A.J. to his left. Tennessee runs a little smash route. Parker open. Great move there. And great move there, Bob. That's just awesome by Eric Parker, and he's off to the races. Looking back over his shoulder a little bit, almost allowed the guy to come in and make the play, but makes a dive for the end zone at the end.
Henry Whitehead and Seneca Lee, number 1 and number 4, are the men who missed him upfield, and they're both pretty good defensive backs. So that gives you an idea of the movement of Eric Parker on that one. He eluded 2 guys who are a little above average as far as secondary players are concerned. Coach Kiesler, the Indians, obviously a little disgusted with the way things have developed here in the last few minutes. And Mother Nature, as a way, I guess, of applauding, makes the showers a little heavier. Rain's coming straight down now. 4:29 remaining in the quarter. 21-0 Tennessee. Vols have already used a few reserves, and as the course of the game progresses, we expect to see quite a few, and I know that's what people are tuned in for today, Tennessee fans, that is, to see some of the youngsters that you've heard so much about. And now seeing them in action. Here's Lee's kick down to the 4-yard line. It's Adams, and he is going to be short of the 20, where a sea of orange engulfs him. Volunteers 21-0. So far, the old grads who have come back are enjoying things very much. Very festive situation around here this week, as always, with homecoming. Fraternities, sororities, all deeply involved with their signs, and been all kinds of parties. And Terrence, alumni parties will be coming up tonight throughout the city, I'm sure.
And homecoming in Tennessee is penalty on the return, going to back Louisiana-Monroe up. As I was saying, homecoming in Tennessee is one of the great spectacular events in the Southeastern Conference. Being an alumni, it's great to get back and see some of your old college friends. For me, see some of the guys that I played football with at Tennessee.
Maybe you don't see but once every 4 or 5 years, huh? But they get back, and a lot of them are back here this week. In fact, we saw Deion Grant earlier down on the field, walking very well. Injured hip with Carolina, out for the season, but easier. Here's the little flat pass, and it's going to be caught and then dropped. Mark Henderson coming out of the backfield. Willie Miles chased him down out of the secondary. Chance pointing out something to the official. I don't know what it was. I didn't see a flag fall down there, but anyway, it's a situation now where the Indians are probably going to have to go a little more. They lack a 60-40 ratio as far as pass to run is concerned, but may have to go in the 80-20 range when you fall behind like this or more.
Chance may have to put an ice bag on his shoulder after this game, Bob.
No experience behind him, but we'll see. He's a tough kid. Got 3 receivers set on the right side. He looks in that direction. He fires incomplete. The receiver was there, had it, should have caught it, but dropped it. Was Sean Brown. Almost all of the Monroe players are from Louisiana. A few from Mississippi, and a couple from 2 or 3 from the state of Texas. As you would expect, pretty much the same situation with LSU. Most of their players are in-state, but they have a few in Mississippi and in Texas as well.
And Bob, Louisiana-Monroe had the 3rd best signing class in the state of Louisiana, behind LSU and Tulane. So they got some young guys on their football squad, some young guys that's going to be able to make plays for them in the years to come.
As we said, 3 starters, freshmen, and 6 others in a backup role, or either sophomores or freshmen. Here's the pass out high, but caught on the sideline, shy of the marker, is Darrell Carter. And coming up was Andre Lott from safety to push him out of bounds.
Louisiana-Monroe going with a familiar set, getting the ball out to the back. Tennessee just doing a good job in their secondary. They're playing aggressive. They're playing tight. They're not backing up, not giving Louisiana-Monroe much of an option.
They pretty much would give you that pass most of the day. I think real good teams will just keep it in front of you and short of the marker.
Just keep it in front of you. Allow the sideline to be a defender for you. Come up, make a sure tackle.
Well, the long run by Eric Parker may have winded him a bit, so normally he's the man back to receive punts, but it's Cedric Wilson. And the punter's in big trouble. He bobbled it for a moment, finally had it partially blocked. It's going to be downed inside the 20-yard line, so the kicking woes continue for the Indians of Monroe.
We talked about the Louisiana-Monroe kicking game being disastrous up to this point, and you see it again, Bob. I think the punter, as we look at it, the punter just takes too much time with the ball. Tennessee cover team just really aggressive. You see that as Stephen Marsh making a good play on the ball. Tennessee coming up with great field position.
Tony Campbell looks like the man who got in there. We have got a new quarterback, so Tennessee fans get their first look at the young man from California, Casey Clausen, 6'4", weighs about 218 pounds. And he's going to step back, in his first collegiate play will be a throw for a touchdown. David Martin, 6'4", in the corner of the end zone. What a way to start your college career.
Bob, two of the names that we've been looking for since the beginning of the season, Casey Clausen and David Martin. Unbelievable play by Casey Clausen, laying the ball up. David Martin doing what you expect a big receiver to do, go up and get the football.
And he's receiving a little pep talk from his coach right there. That was a great play, and I'm sure Philip is saying something to the effect they won't all be that easy.
You don't want him to get too confident based on his first play, his first college play.
Alex Walls adds another point. Tennessee goes up 28-0 with 3:05 remaining here in the first quarter of play. In Knoxville, the rain continues to fall, but it obviously hasn't bothered the passing game, especially this one.
Three-step drop here. Tennessee goes to the fade route. One of the routes that Cedric Wilson and the wide receivers talked about would have been effective. They felt would have been effective last week against Florida, and David Martin just using his size to make a great play. He's
a mismatch for almost any secondary guy around. 6'4".
Big receiver, probably the prototype for most pro receivers. As you see now, they're getting away from the smaller wide receivers, using his body as a shield and making a great play on the football.
So the Volunteers run up 28-0 now, and the fans have seen their first look at, there he is, number 7, Casey Clausen. And he's obviously a very happy guy right now. First career pass is for a touchdown. Stephen Lee will be kicking off again. Again, he's handling the duties today because David Leverton, well, it's time. Let's see. Are they going with Lee again? Yes. That drive, one play, 19 yards, took 5 seconds off the clock. Here's the kick. It's down to the 8-yard line. Fielded by Adams there. He's trying to get outside. Not much there. Tennessee's special teams doing a good job, as they have this season in the previous 2 games. And they cover it nicely. They really did a good job on Florida, the special teams, I thought. We've got a brand new UT store to tell you about, and it's unlike any store you've ever visited before. The next time you go shopping for that special Vol shirt or cap, be sure to visit volmall.com. Vol Mall is a virtual mall of stores dedicated exclusively to the Big Orange, and it's as close as your computer. Vol Mall contains the most quality apparel from the most popular manufacturers and is endorsed by the University of Tennessee. Purchases you make go directly to the Vols athletic department. Volmall.com. Pass out almost picked off. Miles was very close to being in the end zone, or Gaines rather, Teddy Gaines, and he could smell the end zone on that one. But the important thing is he broke on it real well.
Teddy Gaines looking for his first career pick, Bob. If he'd have got his hands on that one, it would have been another touchdown for Tennessee.
There's that rather quick drive, one play, 19 yards, consumed a lot of time, 5 seconds. First college pass was for a touchdown for Clausen. Now Monroe really needs to do something positive because their team has fallen behind 28-0 here, and Coach Kiesler will try the shuffle pass, and Tennessee waiting for it. D'Angelo Lloyd all over Henderson. There's big number 99. He's a senior, and boy, he's really blossomed in the last year into a starter this year, and the only senior, though, among the defensive ends, and that's another strength of the team. Terrence.
Louisiana-Monroe going with the shovel pass. The speed of Tennessee defense just too much for Louisiana-Monroe. The great thing for Tennessee is Louisiana-Monroe's offense is very similar to what Tennessee did offensively last week against Florida. A plus for them, of course, in practice this week.
Monroe now down 28-0. The rain continues to pepper down, bouncing off the helmets as you see there. Here's Chance, and they blow the whistle and blow it dead. Something happened, some infraction in there, and phew, might have been a good thing for Chance that it was blown dead. Tennessee was taking a bead on him. Here's the referee, Tom Ritter.
Prior to the snap, false start, movement on the offensive line, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Well, you heard it, so it cost 5 yards to the Indians and creates even more problems for Coach Kiesler and his staff. Tennessee defense now trying to dig in. They know the pass is coming, and they hit him just as he throws, and it's going to be incomplete. In fact, a couple of balls closer to it than the intended receivers. There's Gaines, number 1 in there. Bernard Jackson was probably the guy putting the most pressure on him from defensive end.
I think you're right. I think Bernard Jackson. I think also Anthony Sessions coming up the middle. Bernard Jackson gets him there. Bernard Jackson, another one of those young defensive ends that you talked about, Bob. It's going to be the strength of the Tennessee defense.
Yeah, you got Overstreet, you got Richmond, and they just keep on coming. Dante Stallworth is back this time. I need to check and see if anything happened to Eric Parker. I don't think so, but Cedric Wilson returned the last one, and this one is Stallworth, who's going to let it bounce. And so Eric Parker not returning punts. They may just want to see who else can field punts.
I think Tennessee feels very comfortable with the lead they have and just using this as an opportunity to give some of their backups an opportunity, because you never know when Eric Parker's going to go down. Cedric Wilson or Dante Stallworth have to step in and return punts, and that's not an easy job to do.
They're also blessed with another guy in there, Eric Locke, who could, I guess, if he had to return one, but he also helps out in the kickoff department with Leonard Scott. So kick return guys, they got a lot of them. 45-yard punt that time. So Tennessee puts it in play. Clausen remains in at the quarterback position. Casey Clausen, the true freshman. He's going to run with it, can't find anybody open, and he gets a little yardage up across the 40 up to the 43-yard line before Michael Anthony, left tackle, made the stop for the Indians. Casey Clausen.
Clausen takes a 5-step drop. I think, Bob, he gives up on it a little too early. I think his nerves might be getting the best of him. Coach Formers doesn't want to see this guy run up the middle much with the football.
Well, there's a fine line there, and holding it too long and not releasing it so quickly, so he'll find that comfort zone. He's still 1 for 1 in passing. Hands off this time to his tailback, Travis Stevens, and he's got nothing. Absolutely nothing. The left side just collided all over him that time, and the stop was made. Big Malibu was the first one in there to make the stop. Defensive left tackle, so Tennessee now will be looking at a 3rd down and 9, and we certainly should see the arm strength of Casey Clausen on this one. Most definitely a passing situation. Tennessee's had their way so far in this game, 28-0. This will probably be the final play, or could be, unless it's an incomplete pass of the quarter. Here's Clausen, got time, fires, complete to Dante Stallworth at midfield, and he's going to be down with the clock stopped with 1 second. Now it continues to run. He didn't get out of bounds, and so that's the end of the quarter. But Clausen now is 2 for 2 throwing. That was a little more of a receiver catch than a passer proficiency, perhaps, because a little bit high, but reaching nicely there for it. It was right on target, though. Dante Stallworth, who's got the sure hands.
A deep curl route for Tennessee, and the thing about it, although the ball seemed to slip a little bit on Clausen and float a little bit, he still had the strength to get the ball there.
Well, you have 2 good looks at it right there. End of the quarter. Tennessee Volunteers 28. University of Louisiana-Monroe nothing. Here in Knoxville, it's homecoming with the Vols on top comfortably. Okay, we get set to move to quarter number 2. I'm Bob Bell along with Terrence Cleveland, bringing you the action here in Knoxville. Glad to have you with us wherever you are watching across the state and in some cases outside the state, where alumni groups have gathered in various cities who follow the Volunteers and who could pick this up today. And of course, in general, all over the Southeast. And we are happy to have you with us. Tennessee looking very good at the expense of a very young Louisiana-Monroe team who lost to Minnesota, lost to Memphis, won over Nicholls State last week. An independent, next year they join the Sun Belt Conference. And Tennessee fans are getting a look at some of the youngsters that have been ballyhooed very much in the recruiting process and in the practice so far this fall at Tennessee. And certainly no one talked about more than this young man, Casey Clausen, who's 2 for 2. His first pass, if you just joined us, was for a touchdown to David Martin. It looks very calm out there, as did A.J. Suggs in his start last week against Florida. Out of the shotgun this time. Casey taking his time, firing, almost intercepted. He held it a little too long that time.
He may have held the ball long, but Eric Locke does one of the things you don't want a wide receiver to do. You don't want a wide receiver to wait on the football to get to you. As a wide receiver, when you come out of your cuts, you want to come back and meet the football. I don't think this is Clausen's fault. I think Eric Locke just waiting on the football allows the DB to step in. As a wide receiver, you want to come back and meet the football.
And that's from a former Tennessee wide receiver. There's number 2 on the sidelines. Jason Witten is in there tight end right now. He's gone out, but he was in on that play. Another freshman who started out on the defensive side and may someday wind up back on defense, but they're taking a look at him at tight end. Here's Clausen standing up, firing, complete to Cedric Wilson. He's out of bounds at about the 44-yard line of Monroe. That's the pattern right there, or maybe a little deeper one would be more of a judgment on your arm strength, but that's what they talk about when they talk about the quick release and the arm strength.
As you can see, but the ball continues to seem like Clausen's not getting a grip on the football. I don't know if it's because it's wet or what, but the ball still seems to wobble a little bit on his throws.
Cedric maybe cut his route off a little too short that time. It is not a first down, but they've got a third down situation here. Bobby Graham, Leonard Scott in wide receiver. Big rush on Clausen, and they're going to knock him down this time. Cedric Robinson, the safety, came on a safety blitz and was untouched and got to Clausen and did a good job. So that's probably the best defensive play of the day for the Indians of Monroe.
They bring a blitz off the outside. Clausen doesn't see it or sees it very late, not able to step up and avoid it, and takes what looks like a hard shot around the neck, Bob.
Yeah, that's not a comfortable tackle for the recipient anyway. David Leverton will be in to punt, and he gets it away. Oh, it's a nice one. A signal for a fair catch, and had no intention of trying to catch it. It went over his head into the end zone, about a yard into the end zone. David would have liked to have downed that, and he will many times this season inside the 5. He's having a great start. A little bit of a ankle problem, though. He suffered late in the Florida game. In fact, his last kick against Florida, you may remember we were hesitating to call it whether it was a mistake or off the side of his foot or a pooch kick. Turned out to be a good kick because it rolled down inside the 10. But as it happens, it was just off his foot because of the ankle injury. Sharing an umbrella. Obviously, that's an accord or somewhere because you can't bring umbrellas into the stadium here.
I wonder how they got that into the stadium, Bob. They're probably the only couple that has an umbrella in the stadium.
You ban umbrellas and then you make a fortune on the sale of rain gear. Everybody in here just about in the orange rain gear. There you see the sideline discussion as the coaches try to figure out a few things here to stop the balls. So far they have been relatively unsuccessful in that area. They did stop Clausen on that last play that brought on the punt. There's Andy Chance, the sophomore quarterback. who's a good runner, and given a time, he can throw the football. Total yard situation, and that's about as one-sided as the score. 2:04 to 29 in favor of the Vols. Vols up 28-0. Here's the give to the tailback, and he's got nowhere to go except straight down. Carrying that time was Mark Henderson out of the tailback. He alternates with Brian Jacobs. Among others, Rashad Moore. Big Rashad Moore from Alabama was in on the stop. Tell you what, he and Hainsworth have been showing a little more progress each week. And that's something that the Vols very much need, is that tackle position to be very solid, because the other tackle position about as solid as you'll find in college football. John Henderson, of course. 30 yards total. Travis Henry, that's for Monroe. Travis Henry alone has got 34. Here's a pass out in the flat, complete. Receiver Sean Brown falling down, but he did pick up some positive yards. Falling down just as he caught it, so it will make now for a 3rd down and 6 situation as he advances about 4 yards.
Bob, this will be a good test for Tennessee secondary. You talked about the pass defense for Tennessee coming into the ball game. This will be a good opportunity to see how this young group handles a for sure passing situation.
They're trying to keep up with them because they're shuffling in and out. Tennessee 3 or 4 men on each play. They go into the shotgun with Chance needing 6 yards for a first. He rolls. Tennessee puts big pressure on him, and he throws it away. Outside the pocket, he can do that. As long as you throw it across the line of scrimmage, once you get outside your tackles, you are permitted to throw it away, and that's exactly what he did. And Eric Westmoreland was there to make sure that he did that. So Chance a little bit disgusted with that play. It means Monroe has to turn it over now and punt to the Volunteers. We're in the first half. We got 12:40 to go before halftime, and we've got Dante Stallworth backing up in one safety position back here, and the other one is Cedric Wilson. So they're going to use twin receivers on this punt. Steve Honeycutt steps into it and has it blocked. It's rolling around. Tennessee is going to fall on it. Looks like Sessions at about the 9-yard line.
Bob, I think that may be Jabari Greer.
Is it 33? That is. That's him. And you know what? Everybody has said in practice he has been phenomenal. He almost blocked one against Southern Miss. And the young man from Jackson, Tennessee, could be a big playmaker in that department for Tennessee during his career here.
Bob, since he stepped foot on campus, he's been one of those guys that it's just going to be hard to keep him off the field. He's a guy that can make plays. He's a guy that's not afraid to take a chance at an opportunity. Comes up with a great play for Tennessee there.
Florida leads Kentucky 24-10 in the second quarter. Ball's in great shape now, and A.J. Suggs comes back in at quarterback. A.J. gives it to his tailback. His tailback is Travis Henry. Goes inside the 10 before he is dropped. Correction, that is not that. Yeah, it is Travis. It looked like him for a second sideways, but now he turns and we see the big number 20. There's the big guy rambling in there.
Led by Munoz and Offenhuzel, and the young offensive line has been playing so well for Tennessee.
Boy, those guys are going to be around for a long time, which is a comforting thought for Coach Berry and Coach Fulmer. Coach Berry, the offensive line coach. Travis digs and dives and rides his would-be tacklers down. Cedric Robinson finally, the last man who jumped on, gets credit for the tackle, but there's the cheese man who just will not be stopped.
And the difficult thing about Travis Henry, Bob, is he almost seems like he's the same size from his head to his feet. Defenders has to take a while to decide, how do I want to tackle this guy? Do I want to take him on up high? No. Do I want to take him on low? No. Travis Henry just drags him for the ride.
Now, Cedric Robinson, the guy who's trying to tackle him, weighs 200 pounds, so he's not a small guy, and he just drove right through him. There he is, up and over. A la little man. Goes into the end zone, and Tennessee increases its lead to 34-0 over Louisiana-Monroe as Travis Henry makes the big leap of faith right there. There's Bartholomew, one of the first men to lead him through that time. or pave the way for him to go over the top. And Alex Walls will try to add to the Tennessee points here with 11-12 to go in the first half as the light rain continues to fall on Neyland Stadium in Knoxville. Most of the fans, a few have tried to work their way up into some of the covered areas and an occasional empty seat here or there, but for the most part they're sticking with it. So the situation is 11-12 remaining in the first half, and your score is Tennessee 34 with the extra point coming up and Monroe nothing. All right, back here in Neyland. Last week Florida was in here and they're back home and leading Kentucky 24-17 in the second quarter. So pretty interesting battle going right there. Of course, Tennessee fans naturally are looking and hoping and praying for a Florida loss. They need a couple of them before the season's over.
And Bob, it's a long football season in the SEC, and the Florida team, as we saw last week, not the usual Florida team, the dominant Florida team that we've seen from the Gators in the previous season. So a long football season, a lot of football left. Who knows how it's going to turn out at the end of the season?
No, when you look back at the way Tennessee's offensive line dominated their really veteran defensive line last week, I don't take that as a great omen for the Florida Gators this year. I think somewhere down the line they could be had, and maybe had a couple of times. So it's not out of the question that if Tennessee does what they're supposed to do, that they could find themselves in Atlanta.
And that's the way Coach Foreman and the staff is going to coach it. One game at a time, a lot of football left, a lot at stake.
The timeout has been called. And now we will have, after a long delay, the extra point by Alex Walls, and he remains perfect. Tennessee 35 and Monroe nothing. That's how much Tennessee had been favored by coming into this ball game. Let's take a look at the touchdown again, Terrence.
Tennessee going straight up the middle, over the top. Travis Henry, touchdown. Tennessee's been perfect in the orange area in today's ball game. Something they worked on coming out of the Florida game. Doing a great job. Young offensive line, fullback, everybody meshing together. Result, touchdown, Tennessee.
There's Travis. They'd probably like for him to get 100 yards today and get him out of here.
Travis Henry, one of the things I noticed about Travis Henry is I watched practice this week. Bob, he's become a leader. He's become a vocal leader as well as a leader by example. The offense is really starting to mesh around Travis Henry, starting to look at him as a leader.
Got 41 yards on 11 carries right now, including the TD. Adams will drop back into safety now. H.J. Adams, and it'll be Tennessee kicking off after adding 7 more points to their what's becoming a rather bulging total right here in the first half. Rain just about has stopped right now. Hardly anything falling except a light mist right now. Lee approaches and his kick is away. It's not very deep, but it takes a terrific bounce down to a 4-yard line where it's going to be picked up and smothered. It'll be forward motion at about the 2. They drove him back into the end zone. But certainly a mistake by not fielding that one cleanly.
Big mistake by Louisiana-Monroe. What happens a lot of times, you get 2 guys back there, no one calls the football, it ends up hitting the ground. Disastrous special teams play by Louisiana-Monroe, something that we talked about that has haunted him in the first 2 ball games.
Another good play by Tony Campbell on special teams, though. Downfield, number 25. Take a look. There's Jacobs back. And the mistake made. And there's Tony Campbell, number 25. Doing a little rodeo work. So Monroe in deep trouble right now. They hand off to the tailback now, and nothing there. They'll give him his forward motion back to the line of scrimmage, but that's it.
Bob, I think that play shows us exactly why Tennessee's ranked 6th in the nation in defense, in rushing defense.
Tell you what, they were all over that one. The Volunteers gave him no room whatsoever to run.
Louisiana-Monroe having not much of a choice except to run to the heart and soul of the Tennessee defense. Not much there.
Overstreet, number 90, one of the leaders on that one. So Monroe is looking now at a second down, actually closer to 11 yards to go for a first down. They're going to hand it off once again, try to find a little daylight. They do get a little, and a little bit more. Out to not enough for a first down, but about 2 yards shy. A is Keith Thomas, the third tailback to be used today. And cheerleader gets decked right there, but she seems to be okay. Actually may have made a pretty good stop on the play.
Louisiana-Monroe going with a bigger back here, able to break some tackles, allow them to get some breathing room, get them back to off the goal line. Ooh, Bob.
Ooh. That was just shown on the Jumbotron here, but again, the young lady has bounced up and seems to be okay. Apparently, they're going to tack on some more yardage at the end of that play. As the ball is being pulled out to about the 27-yard line, where it'll be first down and 10 to go. So Monroe has gotten out of the hole. Got some breathing room now. Chance in the shotgun. Down the line, wants to keep it, and Tennessee keeps him in contain. Moore made the stop. Eddie Moore, who's a promising linebacker, another youngster that you'll be hearing a lot about in the future. He's 6 foot tall, 230 pounds. He's a sophomore.
Louisiana-Monroe runs the option into the boundary. Speed of Tennessee. Eddie Moore just takes a chance and makes a play on the quarterback. There into the boundary, your sideline becomes a defender for you.
Tennessee's been at home for the first 3 ball games. They go on the road for 2 after this, to LSU and to Georgia. Then a week off before coming back to meet Alabama on October 21st. Chance out of the shotgun, fires it out, looks swing on the side, and Tennessee smells this one out pretty quick. Keith Thomas coming out of the backfield is the recipient, and Dominic Stevenson among others in on the tackle to knock him down.
And also a young player that we've talked about, Omari Hand in at linebacker, also there to make a great play. Chance not seeing anything downfield, just gets it out to his back. Tennessee comes up for an aggressive stop.
Very good play that time by the Tennessee defense, reacting real well. In case you're wondering, Omari Hand wears number 91 if you want to keep an eye on him. Keith Burnett. Referee's going to stop it for some reason, and we have an official timeout. Guess it'll be charged to Monroe. Somebody in the Monroe offense decided they didn't like the way things look. It might have been Chance, but he called a timeout. So the situation is 8 minutes 39 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Homecoming for the Tennessee Vols, and they're making the grads feel very, very happy right now. 35 Tennessee, Monroe nothing. Time back in. We're set to go here. ND Chance, by the way, is 9 of 14, 30 yards on the day for him. He has 3 carries, though, for a minus 12 yards. There's the situation. Tennessee 35 to nothing. And we've still got a little time, quite a bit of time left in the first half of play. 8:39 to go. Tennessee getting to showcase some of the youngsters that we've been hearing a lot about, but haven't had a chance to see much this year, like 2 guys that were in on the previous play, Omari Hand and Eddie Moore. Omari Hand has played some linebacker and some defensive end. He actually probably is more suited to defensive end because of his size, Terrence. He weighs 255 pounds, but he's a pretty good guy as far as speed is concerned. He surprised you a little bit with the way he can move for a big guy. And
the depth at Tennessee's defensive end may be the reason that Omari Hand's getting a look at linebacker. The thing that I like about Tennessee is just the type of athletes they have on the football field, able to play numerous positions.
And all of them have to have one thing, speed. All right, it's 3rd down, and it's 7 to go for a first. Chance being pushed down to the ground by at least 3 balls. Westmoreland, one of them, leading the way. Also, Ed Kendrick, Albert Hainsworth, number 92, was crashing in there. Big Albert showing for a guy who weighs 300 pounds that he can motor.
Tennessee brings both his linebackers up the middle. The speed of Eric Westmoreland and just the sheer determination of Albert Hainsworth. Great play by Tennessee.
So once again, Tennessee will use twin safeties back to receive the punt here. Honeycutt will have time this time. Had one blocked a moment ago, but he gets this one off. Dante Stallworth picks it up. He's got running room. Let that stalwart go inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. The young receiver from California showing that he can play with the best of them.
Bob,
he's an extremely muscular guy for a receiver. Looks more like a running back at times, Terrence.
And he's hard to bring down. That type of punt is going to lend itself for a great return. Dante Stallworth doing what we've seen him do when you get the football in his hands. He's just a great playmaker, Bobby. At any time, he can take the football the distance.
35-yard punt, 17 yards, though, on the return for Tennessee. Dante Stallworth doing that. Here's Suggs throwing a little bit low and outside and incomplete. Kind of like a Greg Maddox pitch, just off the side of the plate, just barely off the side. A little bit low and outside.
Bob, Tennessee brings Leonard Scott into the ball game. We may see him go deep with Scott on this play.
We haven't seen that. A lot of people have been wondering where Leonard Scott is in the mix of things because he is the fastest man on the team. They look downfield. They look for him and out. Cedric Wilson was the man breaking for the end zone, but couldn't quite do it. Well, one of the big stories today, South Carolina continues to be the Cinderella team in all of football. 23-19 winner today over Mississippi State.
Tennessee catches Louisiana-Monroe in man-to-man coverage. Cedric Wilson beats a guy on a deep post. The ball floats on Suggs. Bob, in a situation there, that's where you want your quarterback to have really good arm strength. Throw that ball on a rope, hit Cedric in his numbers.
Lead him maybe just a little too much, and he'll get to it because these guys are playmakers. They'll stretch out for it. AJ, boy, he almost had somebody threw a shot at him. Tennessee picked it up quickly, and then they complete the pass to Dante Stallworth for a first down. At the last second, we'll try to find out who picked up the block that saved A.J. Suggs from being really floored.
Look at it. Maybe Fleming. Oh, there, Travis Stevens.
Travis Stevens, terrific.
Making a great block. Dante Stallworth staying alive on the play. That's one of the things you want your wide receiver to do, is you want your wide receiver to stay alive, give your quarterback an option.
So it becomes first down and 10 to go as A.J. Suggs tries to lead the balls toward the end zone again. Hands off to the tailback. It's Troy Fleming actually out of fullback, and Troy is going to pick up a little yardage. He's not your typical fullback in that, first of all, he's not quite as big as most Tennessee fullbacks in the past, but he's a little more of a runner. He can run the football and has been tried at times at tailback.
He was a great running back at Battleground Academy. Came to Tennessee. Tennessee needed some help at fullback. Of course, Bartholomew being a starter, he gives them a good option as a backup.
Man leaping off the field is Justin Ebersol, a 6'4" freshman defensive end, and they have been racked up pretty good by injuries this year. Here is great straight ahead running by Travis Stevens. Man, running like Travis Henry on that one. Seneca Lee from free safety had to make the stop, or he would have been in the end zone.
Travis Stevens running like a man on a mission. That's what you want your running back to do. Not absorb the punch, Bob, to give the lick. Travis Stevens, a small guy. I think the DB may have thought he had this battle won, but Travis Stevens staying low. Of course, in football, you know the low man wins. Sending a message to the Louisiana-Monroe secondary.
Seneca Lee got the message, I would think, on that one. Here's the pitch. They try to sweep outside, and the sweep room is there. Touchdown! Travis Stevens. Clarksville, Tennessee youngster who actually was a track star in high school and had to sit out last year. Has come back and really looked good. Worked hard in the offseason. Picked up some weight while he was sitting out up to about 190. It's all muscle. And you saw his strength and power on the previous play, and then you saw some speed there, Terrence, on that play.
He's a great option for Tennessee. He gives him a different look from Travis Henry. Tennessee very lucky to have Travis Stevens, Bob. He sat out, as you know, last year, stuck with it, did not make the change or want to transfer, as you've seen some of the Tennessee players do. Stuck with it. He's a backup for Tennessee and going to get some playing time this year.
They lose Travis Henry, but Travis Stevens will be back next year. Here's Alex Wall's extra point. It is up and good. And Tennessee is beating the bushes in the recruiting. outside at least a couple of big tailbacks, and a lot of big names are on Tennessee's list, and a lot of them are probably visiting here today.
Tennessee goes with the sweep with the lead by Fleming. Travis Stevens gets to the corner. End result, touchdown. This is a play Tennessee ran last week. Excellent block by Fleming. Tennessee ran last week, I guess, on the 3rd and 2, Bob, that a lot of the fans questioned. This time very successful with it.
Yeah, I know what they're saying, and you do too. If they're going to run the sweep last week, why didn't they use Stevens, right? But very impressive block that time by Troy Fleming. He put his man on the ground. So Tennessee runs out 42-0 over Louisiana-Monroe. We've got 6:04 remaining in the contest here in Knoxville. The rain, for the most part, now has stopped to just kind of a little bit of a mist, and never was a factor in the game, even when we had a little steady rain earlier. Just kind of a comfort thing, I guess, for the fans in here. That scoring drive, 6 plays, 38 yards, took a minute 48 off the clock. 15-yard run by Stevens, captain, and Lee's kickoff. Pretty good one down to the 5-yard line, where Monroe will try to get rolling, and not much running room there. It's going to be shy of the 20-yard line. H.J. Adams, who's done all the kick returning today for he's a receiver for the Indians. Unable to find any daylight to speak of there. Tennessee just all over him. Special teams play. Again, we point out that's been very good. That's something Tennessee worked hard on in the spring, and they have early this season, to make sure they contain, because they're going to see an awful lot of good punt guys, punt return people this year, and kickoff returners in the Southeastern Conference especially. 12-yard return to be exact on that one. So Chance once again kind of has his back to the wall. He knows he's got to throw, and most of all Tennessee knows that. He's got a little time, and he's got his receiver open in the middle of the field, and it's going to be pretty close to a first down. Sean Brown, 5'9", 166-pound sophomore, on the receiving end of Andy Chance's throw that time. It is enough for a first down.
Chance in the shotgun, looking left, catches Tennessee off guard. I think all the Tennessee defenders had flowed to the sideline. Gets a nice little dump off to the wide receiver inside.
Volunteers, knowing they're going to see a lot of passing today, is an area where they need to work on, because they have had some problems, especially late in the first 2 ball games. Chance may be checking off at the line of scrimmage, up talking to his interior lineman. 2 receivers set at the bottom of your screen, 1 at the top. They handed up to the up man, the tailback, and it was like Tennessee was in the huddle with him on that one.
Louisiana-Monroe running the shotgun draw there. Tennessee almost takes the handoff, Bob.
Keith Thomas is the man taking the handoff and then taking the punishment.
Just not a chance for the Louisiana-Monroe running back. That's a play Tennessee had some success with last week against Florida with Travis Henry as a shotgun draw.
4:50 remaining in the first half. Bob Bell and Terrence Cleveland here bringing you the action in Knoxville. Taking a look at a lot of Tennessee balls today, and we'll be looking at even more of them as the game progresses. It appears the way things are going. Chance is going to be pressured, gets his pass away, but Tennessee racks him up. Dominic Stevenson, I think, made the hit on H.J. Adams just as he made contact with the football, and that's called separation.
And Adams asking Chance, why are you throwing me the football? Dominic Stevenson, one of the speed guys in, but doing what you want a linebacker to do, making a lot of compact when he gets to the football. Great hit.
Dominic came in here as a highly ballyhooed tailback. In fact, they say he could still be a tailback now, but he's got the speed to do it, but he's certainly too valuable at where he is, and that's middle linebacker. 3 receivers set left, now 4 as the man in motion stops on the left side. Here once again, Tennessee racing in to try to make the stop, and they do make the interception. Intercepted at the 41-yard line by Eric Westmoreland. There's another linebacker who can run like a deer.
There's another linebacker, Bob. We talked about there was a running back in high school. Also was Dominique Stevenson, and of course Anthony Sessions played quarterback. So Tennessee at linebacker is as athletic as you'll see. The thing about this play is Louisiana-Monroe rose chance to the sideline. But Bob, what that does is that limits your field. Your sideline actually becomes a defender. Eric Westmoreland steps in for a great play.
All right, Casey Clausen has come back into the ball game. He has a touchdown pass. In fact, his first play as a collegian was a pass to David Martin for a touchdown. First downs, Monroe's got 4, Tennessee 14. Travis Stevens is in at tailback now, replacing Travis Henry, and has looked good. They hand off to him. He's got a big hole down across the 30 and still running. Well, you're right, Terrence. He does give him a different dimension because he is a slasher. He can make some moves on you, whereas Travis goes with the power. Travis Henry.
A nice 1-2 punch for Tennessee. Tennessee goes with a shotgun draw. We saw Louisiana-Monroe use. Tennessee just much more effective because of their play at offensive line. And Stevens is one of those backs, Bob. If he gets in the open, he could take it a distance. He has a lot of speed to go with, as we said, the power he's developed by getting stronger in the offseason.
Will Offenhusel out in front of him looking for somebody to block that time. Stevens has got 5 carries for 40 yards now. Here's Clausen. Fakes to his left, throws over there to Cedric Wilson, and Cedric is down right around the first down marker. I think he's got enough.
Tennessee uses a wide receiver screen that we saw them use in the first couple of ball games going to Cedric Wilson. That play had a chance, Bob. Toby Champion gets out there on the block a little earlier, and of course it's going to take Toby Champion a while to get out there. Cedric Wilson's in the end zone.
Actually, defensive tackle Michael Anthony was trailing on the play and made the stop. Pretty good play for a big tackle. Cedric Wilson has just moved up to number 7 on the all-time reception list, passing Craig Faulkner. He now has 111 career catches. One of the captains of the team. They hand off to Travis Stevens on a delay, and he goes over his left guard for 2 or 3 yards before he is dropped. Travis Stevens getting a lot of playing time here in the second quarter. We've got 2:55 to go before intermission in Knoxville. Homecoming. The opponent, Louisiana-Monroe. Used to be Northeast Louisiana. Good friend of mine, Doug Matthews, who coached here at Tennessee for a long time, said his first job was there. He was 23 years old and he lasted 7 months, Terrence. Here's Clausen firing right in the hands of the receiver, Dante Stallworth, and he couldn't quite hang on. Right on his fingertips.
Really good throw by Clausen. As a Tennessee wide receiver, one of the rules we had when I played at wide receiver at Tennessee is if the ball touches your hands, you have to come up with it. Dante Stallworth's going to wish he had that one back.
Florida scored a couple of touchdowns in the last 2 minutes, 38-17 over Kentucky. Well, there you saw how close it was. But now on 4th down and 4, they're not going to fool around with with a field goal. They're going to go for it. And most any call here, a running play would be a good call, or a slant. They might even go for the end zone on it. And here's the pass. It's complete to Bobby Graham. Bobby Graham makes the stop. Graham is one of those receivers, Terrence. You don't hear anything about him. He's never publicized. We go back to the Memphis game last year, and he literally won the game with a fantastic catch and made a catch or 2 in the Fiesta Bowl that was very big. He's a solid performer.
He's one of those guys that takes advantage of every opportunity he gets. The thing I like about Tennessee and what it does with its second teamers is those guys practice hard. They practice like they're going to be the starters. I know A.J. Suggs talked about that coming into his first start, that he practiced like he's going to be the #1 guy.
Well, it's a 1st down and 10 to go with the ball at the 17-yard line. Clausen looking for some running room because the passing was not open, and he's going to head for the sidelines wisely and go out of bounds. No need to take any punishment right there because you would only gain another yard or 2, and you could really get creamed. You will see guys do that. In fact, there's one here in the state of Tennessee, Mr. McNair with the Titans, who insists on turning it upfield in cases like that, and sometimes you pay the price.
And I think after playing Kansas City, he won't do that again.
Whoa. Attendance today is 107,327. 7th all time, by the way. Clausen out of the shotgun. Stands up, fakes to his left, and going to throw back to his right. And it's going to be interference. Still made the catch, bouncing out of bounds down there is Cedric Wilson, but he definitely was hit before the ball got there, and so a mistake by Monroe, but then again, was it? You probably saved a sure touchdown.
And Cedric Wilson doing what you want a veteran wide receiver to do, keeping himself between the defender and the football. Cedric Wilson's actually Clausen really doesn't put a lot of air on this ball. Cedric Wilson's almost going to run out the back and end zone, but uses his body as a shield between him and the defender. Great play by an experienced wide receiver.
Showers pick up a little bit more now here. The rain, which had stopped almost entirely, now returns, but again it's very, very light. Here's the walk-off of the pass interference against Louisiana-Monroe. Tennessee leading 42-0 and threatening more, a couple of yards away from the end zone. Casey Clausen, number 7, is your quarterback for the Vols. True freshman from California. Back looking, going to pull it down. Use his strength, but it's not quite enough to get to the end zone because he had about 4 Indians hanging on him and couldn't quite get in there. Casey's a big guy for a quarterback. He's 6'4", weighs in that 218, 220-pound range, as does A.J. Suggs, as does Joey Matthews. All of the quarterbacks are very big, very strong here in Tennessee.
And Bob, that may answer the question about his shoulder. Is it healthy? If a guy's willing to run the ball up in the middle and take on contact, I'd say he's healthy.
That's good enough for me. So it becomes now goal to go here at the 2-yard line, really closer to the 1-yard line. Monroe.
They have in their playbook.
1 minute to go. Tennessee leading 42-0. First half. Back to the action. Touchdown, Travis Stevens. Tennessee continues to score almost at will. Travis Stevens, who's come on for Travis Henry, who looked great, and then Travis Stevens has come on and has looked equally great. Alex Walls has looked as good as you can look in the first 3 games, leading the nation, as a matter of fact, in field goals coming into this one. It's been all extra points today, and that's the way Tennessee wants it, extra points. Field goal only when it's absolutely necessary, and he's perfect again.
Tennessee very effective in the red zone or the orange area. Great surge by the Tennessee offensive line. Travis Stevens just getting some great height on his jump, Bob.
Yeah, he went clean over the top all the way. They converged on him, tried to hold him up in midair, as you see, but very good strength shown that there. And you're right, a good surge, especially by the left side of that line. 9 plays, 41 yards, consumed 327, capped by a 1-yard plunge by Travis Stevens. So 57 seconds to go in the first half of play. Tennessee 49-0 over the Indians. Came in favored by 35. The Indians played Minnesota pretty well, had a total breakdown in the kicking game, which accounted for 3 of the Golden Gophers touchdowns. Got beat at Memphis 28-0 when the offense was sputtering. They had, I think, 7 injuries in the Memphis game, and so that hurt them a great deal there. Came back and won over Nicholls State last week after trailing in the ball game. Put on a great passing performance in the second half, but they ran into a buzzsaw here today. Tennessee goes with a short kickoff, and it's going to be fair caught by big lineman up there, a big number 32. It's like a linebacker. Who is that, Russ? That's Tim Lyons. He's a fullback, as a matter of fact. Just plays mostly on the special teams. Sees some action as a blocker in the backfield. So Monroe's got 55 seconds to try to uncork some sort of an offensive movement here in the first half of play. Tennessee substituting freely. They just drive it in the middle and maybe content here, Terrence, just run out the clock, try to regroup in the dressing room at halftime and figure out what has hit them here in the first half. Nothing fancy on that one.
No, I think Louisiana-Monroe being very conservative here. They just want to get into halftime without a turnover, giving Tennessee another opportunity for a score.
Tennessee dressed 121 people today.
And I think they may all play today.
Well,
Bob.
Robert Peace is in on that last play. Now there's another one for you, a freshman who is from Louisiana, a reserve middle linebacker, and they expect a great future from him. But right now he's playing behind Dominique and Whiteside, so not seeing much time, but still shows good athletic ability and will be a star someday. Well, that wraps up the first half of play as Monroe lets it run on out. Mercifully, Tennessee Volunteers 49, Louisiana-Monroe nothing at halftime here in Knoxville. So the homecoming crowd has certainly enjoyed this first half of play. They've had a chance to see a lot of football players. Halftime in Knoxville, Tennessee 49, University of Louisiana-Monroe nothing. All right, back to the action live as we get set now to go in the second half, and the kickoff to Monroe into the end zone, and the receiver Adams decides to down it right there, and so it will be brought out to the 20-yard line where the Indians will put it in play. First down and 10 to go. Tennessee total domination 49-0 over Monroe. The light rain continues to fall, and for most of the game it started about 2 or 3 minutes into the game and has continued. Hasn't been a factor as far as the playing surface is concerned or the handling of the football. In fact, it's been a pretty clean game from that aspect. Not too many bobbles, but certainly it might drive a few of the fans toward the exit before this game is over. Andy Chance is the quarterback who's gone all the way. Tennessee, of course, has used 2 quarterbacks in this game. Chance has just been harassed all day by the Tennessee defense and frankly has had very little chance to do anything significant. He's back to throw. This time he fires incomplete and almost intercepted. Just skipped right off of the ground there. Sean Brown was the intended receiver. Let's take a look at the first half stats. 17-4 in first downs. Yards rushing, yards passing, all lopsided in Tennessee's favor. Turnovers, penalties, it's all Tennessee, but what doesn't show there perhaps are just some of the great defensive plays they have made today in the first half as well, and special teams play. They have been very, very complete in their domination. So it's second down now and 10 to go for the Indians on their own 20-yard line. Bad snap, bad play, great play for Tennessee as they smother in Westmoreland among others on top of him to make the stop. Also Sessions, the linebackers Westmoreland and Sessions drop in and drop him.
Tennessee goes with man coverage and brings his linebackers on a blitz. Play didn't have a chance, Bob, from the start.
I don't think it would have had a chance had he gotten a clean snap from center. They were right there on top of him. He looks at the sideline for some help, and Stan Humphries and people like that are on the sidelines, but they can't come in and help. They can only relay some information.
Exactly. Great coaches can't play for you. I mean, they coach you during the week. They tell you what you're going to have to do to be effective and win. But once this whistle stops, it's all on the players.
We talked about timeout has been called here by Monroe. Timeout will be charged to Louisiana-Monroe. They were looking for something that would pick up 14 yards for a first down. Third down and 14. The Ball Network is pleased to announce the arrival of a brand new home video just released, in Decade of Dominance, the story of ball football in the 90s. This incredible 2-hour production represents 10 years of Tennessee football all on one video. Look for Decade of Dominance in the Simply for Sports department at participating JCPenney stores, or you may order by sending $19.99 plus $5 shipping to Decade of Dominance, care of the Ball Network Video, Post Office Box 11125, Knoxville, Tennessee. Should be something you ball fans would want for a collector's item. They need a play that will pick up at least 14 yards, and so far they haven't shown that kind of ability. rainy day for the old grads who have come back to Knoxville after this game. Tennessee has 2 on the road. They've played the first 3 here. They go to Baton Rouge next week to play LSU, and then to Athens, Georgia. Then a week off before their return here against Alabama on October the 21st. They're all going to be tough. Here's the pass out in the flat off the fingertips of the intended receiver. And Westmoreland was right in his face anyway. Keith Thomas, had he caught it, Westmoreland would have creamed him right where he stood. But just couldn't quite hang on to it. So it'll be a punting situation.
We talked about some of the things that Tennessee wanted to accomplish in this football game. One of the things I think they want to accomplish is come out of this football game healthy, going into the teeth of the SEC schedule.
Honeycutt will be back to punt now for Monroe, standing on his own 2-yard line. Like Eric Parker is back. They used 2 or 3 different return men in the first half. Not because Parker was hurt. Actually, Parker had a long touchdown run, and then they tried Stallworth in there and Cedric Wilson and on a couple of plays. And as Terrence pointed out, that's primarily just to make sure those guys, in case they are needed, would be ready. There was some confusion there before the punt, of course, and here's the official who will step in and tell us what it's all about.
We have a dead ball, neutral zone infraction. On the defense, they were in the zone, causing the offense to move. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Take a look at the infraction, Terrence.
Tennessee being very aggressive on its punt return team. You wonder if that was just a guy lining up off sides of Bob, if they're going for a block again.
Well, anyway, it cost them 5, but it did not pick up a first down, so they will still have to punt. And the kick is away. Tennessee has 1 block punt in this ball game. This one's going to be unreturnable. It's going to go out of bounds at the 45-yard line of the Indians. And at that point, Tennessee will put it in play. First down and 10 to go. I'm sure they'll continue to alternate their quarterbacks here in the second half of play. Might even see Eric Locke at quarterback on an occasion.
That's a possibility. I think based on the conditions of the ball game, this is good for young quarterbacks, Bob. It gives them an opportunity to work in the rain, to work with the wet ball, for their center quarterback exchanges, and just throwing the football.
That punt, not a very good one. It covered only 24 yards. There's Casey Clausen, number 15, who will be coming back into the ball game. Eric Parker, by the way, has tied a personal best with 88-yard receptions. Tennessee's blessed with a very, very deep receiving core. The question has been, can one of the quarterbacks get it to them? And today they are getting it to them. But granted, the level of competition today is not what it will be next week or the week after that and so on down the line. But still, I think there has been some very good, bright news today for the Vols, Terrence.
And at wide receiver, you want those players to have the success that they've had today, because having a young quarterback and an experienced wide receiver group, that can be frustrating. And you don't want those guys to get frustrated. You don't want them to get down on their quarterback. So the success today, I think, will be something they can build on going into the remainder of the season.
Volunteers up 49-0. Early seconds of the second half here in Knoxville. A.J. Suggs is the quarterback. Ian Clausen will alternate. He throws it out in the flat. It's complete. Flag goes down. Fleming down inside the 20, down to about the 16-yard line, but a flag is dropped up here around the 45-yard line. Could be an illegal block.
I think that's going to be the call, Bob. I think that's going to be all for nothing, which was, it ended up being a great play. Great play by, as we talked about, Fleming, who was a tailback in high school, showing his running ability.
Played at BGA out of Williamson County. Some people have asked the past couple of years if he's related to a great receiver who played here, plays for the Nashville Cats now, Corey Fleming. No, they're not related.
Pass interference on the offense, 15-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, there you heard the call, but Corey told me if Troy turns out to be real good, somehow he'll claim relation.
That sounds a lot like Corey Fleming.
Ball is pulled back now into Tennessee territory at the 40-yard line. Their own 40 is where they will start this. First down and 25. After the penalty. Full house backfield this time for Suggs. Stands up. That's in there for protection primarily. It's going to be maybe a screen. They had an idea of a screen, but certainly there was no one out there to catch it except an offensive lineman out to try to lead a block.
Yeah,
just a general bad play that time.
Tennessee was going to run a screen on that play, but Louisiana-Monroe playing it very well, actually, with Travis Henry the whole way.
Tennessee now will be looking at second down and 25 yards to go. 13-18 remaining in the second half, in the third quarter of play. Vols line up 3 receivers on the right side, 1 on the left. Keep the fullback in to block. Suggs stands up, fires a quick one, and it's batted down. That one didn't have much of a chance. Mike DeAnthony, defensive end on the right side, stood up and knocked it down.
That's unusual, Bob, to see a defensive end dropping. I think they may be spying their defensive end in coverage, trying to get a little help underneath.
Intended for Cedric. Brings up a third down and a mile now. 25 yards to go for a first. Tennessee's leading by a score of 49-0. Let's see if they go downfield again, or they try to catch him a little bit off guard with a draw play or something of that nature. Suggs lines up under center this time. He is going to throw, or at least attempt to. He airs it out long, and it's caught out of bounds there. Still a heck of a catch by Eric Parker, but he was out of bounds.
Unbelievable catch by Eric Parker. That's one Suggs I know he wishes he had back. Keep the ball in the field of play, allow Eric Parker to make a great play inbounds. Just outstanding by Eric Parker. That takes a lot of talent, Bob, to be able to turn on the ball, still have great concentration, and come up with the catch.
David Leverton will be punting. He has handled that duty today and has not kicked off because of a slight ankle sprain, but he has handled the punting, and he handles another one quite well. It's fielded at the 15-yard line, and the receiver has nowhere to go but out of bounds. Fleming downfield to make the stop that time. 12 minutes, 52 seconds remaining in quarter number 3 here in Knoxville at Neyland Stadium. Tennessee 49, University of Louisiana-Monroe nothing. Light rain continues to fall, although it's not a heavy overcast. In fact, it's kind of bright here in the stadium, but maybe it's because of the sea of orange rain jackets that are up there, kind of radiating a light up from the stands.
Bob, just enough rain to be nagging if you're a fan.
Foul on the receiving team after the play was over. Half the distance, first down.
Well, frustration of the Indians beginning to show right there. They had a personal foul after the play was over, and it will cost them. Pull the ball all the way back to about the 5-yard line. Actually, it's resting right on the 6-yard line. Chances 10 of 19 as an interception, got 40 yards through the air, and they got nothing on the ground right here as Tennessee's defense completely shuts everything down in the middle, as they have done all day long. This team has been unable, Terrence, in any way to come up with a threat of a running game, so therefore Tennessee's been able to put their ears back on passing, and the secondary knows the passing is coming because they simply can't run the football.
You're right, Bob. Louisiana-Monroe today just being very ineffective at whatever they want to do with the football.
Second down. About 6 yards to go. They throw it complete, but it's going to be not quite enough for a first down. Up across the 10-yard line out to about the 13-yard line is Stevenson. Kevin Stevenson on the receiving end that time. Sessions, among others, in on the tackle.
Louisiana-Monroe go with a little inside, look like a wide receiver screen. Wide receiver make a really good catch on the ball, Bob. But I tell you, he's asking the quarterback, let's not call that play again. This goes right to the heart of Tennessee defense.
So they look now at a third down and still about 4 yards to go for a first down. Chance being rushed, got his pass away. It's going to be enough for a first down and then some as they race it up to the 26-yard line before it's out of bounds. Mark Vincent, third team receiver, was the recipient that time.
We talked about what Louisiana-Monroe does offensively, and a lot of times, Bob, what they do is going to allow them to make some plays on you. This time they run both wide receivers down, bring the back out on the flare and dump him the ball. He's able to make up some yards.
Westmoreland with great pursuit. Number 42 just keeps chasing him and finally knocks him down. Tad Golden came up to assist on it, but it was Westmoreland's play. Chance is checking off at the line of scrimmage. First down and 10 to go. He goes into the shotgun. Tennessee threatening a blitz. He keeps it on kind of a draw play for the quarterback, and it's a pretty good play. It gets him out across the 35, maybe the length of the football across the 35-yard line. That was run all the way.
That was, and that's some of the things that they do offensively. Tennessee comes on a blitz this time, and the option actually catches Tennessee off guard. As Eric Westmoreland there doesn't have an opportunity to make the play. One of few he doesn't make today.
That's what it's like down there on the line of scrimmage, though, in the trenches. It's rough. Albert Hainsworth is a little bit shaken up on the play and is being taken off the field to play now. There's big number 92, Albert, but he is under his own power, so it doesn't seem to be too serious. Could even be a cramp because we've got very, very high humidity situation here today. It's second down and a couple of yards shy of a first down after the quarterback draw. Chance saw something that time that caused him to gain 8 yards. He hands it off this time to his tailback, and he's got a big hole, and he's still fighting. Good yardage across the 50 and into Tennessee territory down to about the 42-yard line is Bryant Jacobs, their best run in the middle by far all day.
Jacobs gets a great run there. Louisiana-Monroe goes with the shotgun draw there. Rashard Baker shows his inexperience. And great run by Louisiana-Monroe.
Baker went by him like a freight train, didn't he?
Baker says, I'm a wide receiver. I'm not used to making tackles.
Breaking out of the huddle now, Monroe with a little bit of life. They have started moving the football here in the third quarter on Tennessee. It's first down and 10 as they're in ball territory. Here's the pass in the flat, incomplete. Tennessee had it spotted all the way. D'Angelo Lloyd, number 99, was there in Bryant Jacobs' face. Had he caught the ball, he would have been punished tremendously, but he didn't catch it.
Bob, I know we hate to keep saying this, but just the speed on defense for Tennessee really doesn't give you an opportunity to go east and west on them. Anything you try to do east and west, they're going to be there.
Rain has stopped, and actually the skies brighten a little bit. We might even see sunshine before this day is over. In the shotgun is Andy Chance, the sophomore quarterback. He rolls down, pulls it back out, and throws it. It's a good play, complete, and down to the 10, and inside the 10-yard line is Cameron Wynn. Excellent fake that time by the quarterback, and it kind of froze Tennessee's secondary. And tell you what, Coach Larry Slade will not like that play.
Louisiana-Monroe does something unique here. They run what looks like the option. Chance starts down the line, drops back. The wide receiver releases down. Tennessee's been very aggressive coming up on the option. Allows for them to get a big play down the field.
All right, crowd cheering for the Tennessee defense. They would like a shutout here today. Monroe is trying to get on the scoreboard. Here's Chance pitching it back. Last second, he got punished, but he got the ball away, and it's down to about the 5-yard line before the stop is made. Bryant Jacobs, the tailback, did a pretty good job, and Chance did an excellent job in getting rid of it. Ed Kendrick was there primarily. Also Rashad Baker from safety, the freshman that Terrence was talking about a moment ago, who got a start today instead of Golden. Andre Lott is the other safety, and he's the only veteran in the secondary. So they're trying to experiment and get some youngsters in there with a little playing time, get ready for the stretch drive in the SEC. Second down and 5 yards to go. They can't make the first down. Here's Chance rolling, throwing. Incomplete. Man was there a little bit behind him. Tad Golden, the free safety, was in there, number 13, to put a hand up and perhaps save a touchdown.
Bob, that play looked like it had an opportunity, like you said. Louisiana-Monroe rolls everyone to the right, kind of a triple flood route. Chance throws the ball behind the guy. That looked like if he'd got the ball a little further in front, Bob, he had an opportunity for a touchdown.
This will be the 10th play in the drive, which has been a very good one. They far and away the best offensive showing by Monroe today of any consistency. So it's 3rd down and 5 for the touchdown. They will go for it on 4th. You can bet on that. They fire it out in the flat. Incomplete. It was in the hands of the receiver. Brian Jacobs out of the backfield, the tailback, and he just couldn't hang on. Disgusted with himself on that one. He might have scored, Terrence.
He had an opportunity to score, and he's getting some words from his quarterback. Chance knows we're not going to be down here very often. We need to take advantage of it. Tennessee aggressive on the rush. Get the ball out. Just turns up the field, Bob, before he had the football. Looking for the pile before he had the ball.
Little welcome at the end there was by Anthony Sessions. Catches 13 out of 25 for 92 yards. And it's 4th down. It's maybe now or never for the Monroe Indians. Chance fires incomplete. Intended for Brooks Greer in the end zone. Westmoreland back in pass defense. And so unable to get into the end zone. The Louisiana-Monroe team will turn it over to the Tennessee offense right here.
Bob, this play has a chance. Louisiana-Monroe doing a lot of things with his wide receivers on their routes. I can't see who. John Henderson may have got his hand on the ball, but had he not, Bob, I think that would have been a touchdown.
It was Dominic Stevenson who hit him at the end here. The receiver after the ball got by him and over his head. That's just one of those don't come back in this area anymore type deals, but they had a shot at it but couldn't do it. Here's the handoff, trying to get outside is Travis Henry, and not much running room. Travis played the first quarter. Primarily in the second quarter it was Travis Stevens running the football, and now Henry is back in. They would like for him to get a little more yardage today. He needs to average about 90 per game to become the all-time rusher at the University of Tennessee. That's what he's done so far today. So he's got 43 yards, quite a ways away from 90. He wants to pick that up today for an average of what he needs. They give it to him again. Spins off of one man and will get not much, maybe a yard. Good second effort on the part of Henry, but just couldn't quite shake Cedric Robinson, 200-pound safety who made the stop.
Really good run by Travis Henry. I think Louisiana-Monroe gets some help here by one of the refs, Bob. Travis Henry, as we talked about on initial contact, is going to be hard to bring down. Referee in his way there.
Right into his path. The referee just trying to get out of the way and prevent an injury, but and I guess he did that, prevent the injury. 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Tennessee up 49-0, looking at a 3rd down and 7 situation with their back to the goal line. A.J. Suggs, not enough speed to get out of there because he's chased down and dropped at the 2-yard line. Dropped by Donald Maliveau. And that's inexperience right there, because you don't want to lose yardage back to your goal line. You can at that point throw it away, because he has started now moving outside the tackle block, so he could have thrown it away and there would have been no grounding call at all.
You're right, Bob, and his inexperience does show there, because he had nowhere to go with the football. Cedric Wilson, his only outlet, was covered very well.
David Leverton has his foot right on the back line. Gets the kick away, and it is a bad one. By David Leverton standards, it's a terrible kick. And so Monroe will be right back in excellent field position deep in Tennessee territory. The official is still walking, and he finally says it went out of bounds on the 19-yard line. So Monroe will put it in play. 6:11 to go in the third quarter in Knoxville. Tennessee 49, Monroe nothing. That punt, last one by David Leverton, covered a grand total of 17 yards. So Monroe in great shape at the 19-yard line. 1st down and 10 to go. New quarterback in, and he tries to run with the football to no success. Ryan Corcoran is in right now. He's a freshman. He's 6 foot 190 pounds. Ryan Corcoran in at quarterback, relieving Chance. I guess that last effort by Chance was not too pleasing for the coaching staff. He did have a couple of receivers open in the end zone and really couldn't get the ball to them. Part of it was Tennessee defense, but most of it was just not able to get the ball to them. So they're going to another quarterback right here, a freshman. And he's looking now at a second down situation. Actually lost a little yardage. Got really rushed on that one. Completes his pass, but it's for a little gain as Tennessee's Willie Miles was all over Darryl Carter. If anything, he lost a little yardage on that one.
Louisiana-Monroe, Bob, maybe using this opportunity to get their young quarterbacks some playing time. Pressure gets to him. He gets the ball out there, but as you said, it's not very much gained on the play.
In fact, the ball is pulled back to the 24-yard line, where it now becomes a 3rd and 15 situation. 3rd and 15 in the third quarter. Corcoran back, plants his feet, got a rush on, but got his pass off. Did a nice job that time. Not nearly enough for a first down, but he completed his pass to H.J. Adams. Eric Westmoreland, number 42, trailing, made the play for Tennessee.
A really good play by freshman quarterback, Bob. He stands in there. He's going to take a hard shot from John Henderson. Stands in there, still able to make the throw. That's a cool play for a freshman quarterback.
They're going to try a field goal. It'll be spotted on about the 23, so we're looking at a 33-yard effort right here by the Indians. Daniel Francis, a true freshman from Houston, Texas, will attempt the field goal. It's up there. It's on the way. It is good. So Monroe does get on the scoreboard, 33 yards out. It comes with 4:01 remaining in the third quarter of play. It's 49-3. So they bring in a new quarterback, and he's semi-successful, I guess you could say. At least they do put 3 points on the board. So the story in Knoxville on homecoming day is 4 minutes, 1 second to go in the third quarter. Tennessee 49 and Monroe 3. Vols get their first taste of the road next week, and it's a tough place to play. A night game in Baton Rouge. They're probably already starting the party down there as we speak. Terrence getting ready for it. But you and I will be there, and certainly a big test for Tennessee on the road. A drive, 4 plays, covered only 3 yards, and then the 33-yard field goal. The elapsed time on it was 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Sun is trying to break through here now in the third quarter. The rain has, for the most part, gone away. Never was very heavy, but just enough, as Terrence said, to be kind of irritating for the fans. Didn't affect the players at all. Francis will be kicking off now to Tennessee. Here in the third quarter, Vols have dominated the football game. Had some kind of shaky moments, though, in a couple of pass defense situations when they would have liked to have played better. Eric Locke is spinning and driving, and the little guy gets up across the 40 on a good effort up to about the 43. Eric's about 5'7", but I'm telling you what, he is built. He's cut, as they say, Terrence, so he's a solid rock out there.
I saw him outside the locker room on Thursday, Bob, and he's a guy that definitely utilizes the weight room. Louisiana-Monroe kicking the ball away from Leonard Scott, but kicking the ball almost to a player that's almost as deadly as Leonard Scott. Eric Locke, a player that Tennessee's going to want to get the football to as the season goes on. 25 on the return. Clausen has come back in at quarterback, so Tennessee continues to alternate. Take a good look at both their quarterbacks in this game. Casey Clausen, who in his very first play as a varsity player in a game threw a touchdown pass to David Martin. Since then has looked pretty good on most occasions, and so has A.J. Here's the pass complete. Out to midfield and just across midfield to the tight end, Jason Whitten, who up until about 7 days ago was a defensive end. So the big youngster from right here in East Tennessee gets his first catch, and quite a thrill, I guess, for him, Terrence. Whitten, as you said, Bob, primarily used on defense. They're getting him a look on offense and does a good job of catching the ball and getting upfield.
Well, it's late in the third quarter, and Florida is pounding Kentucky 52-17. So the Gators, who were pounded around pretty good by the Vols here last week, have gotten their act together offensively down there especially. Here's the pass in the flat. It's complete to Parker, and he's inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. Eric Parker pulling it in and dropped after a gain down to the 39-yard line. Pretty good throw by Clausen there.
A really good throw. He gets a lot on it. Tennessee going back with what we call the quick game package. A quick three-step drop for Clausen. Gets the ball out to Eric Parker. Eric spinning, wanting to make a play. Bob, we may see Tennessee go, because Louisiana-Monroe is being very aggressive on that route, for a pump and go and try him downfield.
Cedric Robinson made that stop. He's made a lot of tackles today. He's been run over 2 or 3 times by Travis Henry, but he's still out there battling. Here's a delay to Travis Stevens out of the tailback spot, and he's going to ride down to about the 27-yard line before he is down. I'm telling you, this kid looks very, very good today. I'm impressed with Travis Stevens.
He did, Bob, and there was nothing there on that play. This play was made all by Travis Stevens. He bounces it outside. Great blocks by the Tennessee wide receivers downfield.
Referee holding against the Vols. They have been pretty error-free this year, but mistake right there. They did have one huge 5-yard penalty against Florida. Remember, they had the ball at the 48-yard line trying to get a first down, had a 5-yard penalty there, and wound up not getting the first down, which might have killed the clock.
You see Travis Stevens bounce it there, and the wide receivers doing a great job blocking downfield. That's something that Tennessee asked their wide receivers to do, to be complete wide receivers, and that means not as well as catching the ball, really blocking hard downfield, because you never know when your block is going to be the one to spring a guy free.
Couldn't pick up the hole there, but it probably was an obvious one, because nobody from Tennessee seemed to do anything except it. They didn't protest in any way. Usually a lineman will shake his head. At least here is Travis Stevens weaving through back down to about the 27-yard line. Correction, about the 32-yard line before he is stopped. The attendance here today, 107,327 for this homecoming game. This is 7th on the all-time list, as a matter of fact.
Stevens gets the shotgun draw we talked about, and does a great job of picking his holes, using his great vision and his quickness of being able to take advantage of seeing a quick hole and getting up in there.
So the Vols now looking at a first down situation. They throw it out here in the flat. It's complete. Nice throw that time by Clausen. Leonard Scott, their receiver. Scott then tried some at running back in practice, and of course originally a receiver and a kick return man, and back at receiver this week. Let's take a look, Terrence.
5-step drop by Clausen. Does a good job, Bob, of throwing the ball on the curl route. Scott does a good job of coming back to it. Scott, of course, being from Zachary, Louisiana, so he wants to play well against this team today.
You take him out on that play, but that was a very good one. Second down at about a yard. They need to move about a yard to move the chains again. They hand it off to Travis Stevens, and he's going to get the yard and a little bit more. First down play. This is the 8th receiver to catch a pass today. And Leonard Scott became the 8th receiver to catch a pass, so that's good. They're spreading it out and making the receivers kind of happy.
Tennessee running behind Toby Champion, able to pick up the 1-yard. Travis Stevens is running very hard. As we talked about, it gives you a great 1-2 punch with Travis Henry.
Under a minute to go in quarter number 3. The ball is resting right on the 20-yard line of the Indians. Tennessee 49, Monroe 3. Team that used to be called Northeast Louisiana. Here's Casey Clausen firing. He had his man there, but it just was a little high for Cedric Wilson. Cedric couldn't quite get up and pull it down. Had it been David Martin, might have been a touchdown, but Cedric's not 6'4" like David.
Cedric's not. He makes a good play on the ball. Clausen just needs to get the ball down. The pressure comes up the middle, Bob. I like the fact that he stayed in there and was able to throw the football. Just need to get it down a little more. Cedric is going to be frustrated. That's 2 today that Cedric could have had possible touchdowns. The ball just a little high.
All right, Tennessee now. That stopped the clock. The incomplete pass with 35 seconds to go in the third quarter. They're looking at a 2nd and 10 at the Monroe 20-yard line. Casey Clausen, the freshman, goes into a shotgun. Fires complete. Down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line is Cedric Wilson, who hangs on this time and Casey kind of makes up for throwing it a little high to Cedric, put it right in the right spot this time.
One thing I've noticed, Bob, we talked about it. We talked about the strength of Clausen's arm. It seems as though Tennessee has opened up their playbook with Clausen in there. You see them using a lot of different routes, a lot of different pass routes with Clausen in there, spreading the ball over the field a little more.
Don't know which guy's going to emerge as number one. It may be a case where they go with a 2-quarterback system all year long. It's working here, but chances are one of them will eventually settle down as number one. Clausen looking very good right now. 9 of 12 for 83 yards and a touchdown. There's the throw. That's a beauty. Touchdown to Cedric Wilson. There's the arm strength I think they're looking for.
That ball was thrown on the rope, and you can better believe Louisiana-Monroe's playing man-to-man in their secondary. Cedric Wilson goes to the sideline, says, give me one more opportunity. I promise you, on the turf track, we'll get it done.
Well, they did hook up this time. This one wasn't high. It was right on the money. And so Clausen has his second touchdown pass. Alex Walls will come in and do what he has done so well this year. Kick extra points and field goals to perfection, as a matter of fact. It's up. It's on the way. It is good. It's 56-3. Tennessee leading Louisiana-Monroe as we took another look at Casey Clausen to Cedric Wilson. Terrence?
Clausen takes a 5-step drop. Pressure coming up the middle. He steps in, makes a great throw to Cedric. Cedric finally gets his touchdown, able to celebrate with teammate Dante Starworth.
Well, that's the end of the third quarter. The score, Tennessee 56, Louisiana-Monroe 3. Well, we are set now for the fourth quarter of play. Tennessee getting to take a look at a lot of players here today. 56-3 as the Vols have totally dominated this contest. Opening with a win over Southern Miss, as it turns out, a pretty big win. Now we know Southern is indeed a top 25 or maybe even a much higher ranking than that before the season is over. Went down and destroyed Alabama last week, 21-0, and then of course the heartbreaking loss to Florida. Well, when they should have, as they look back on it, no, they should have won the game because they pretty well dominated the game right down to that last drive and couldn't hang on there at the end. A lot of controversy involved in that, but the bottom line is they didn't hang on. Clausen on that last drive was 5 of 6 for 47 yards and a touchdown. That's pretty close to being perfect, Terrence.
Those are really good numbers for a freshman quarterback.
Lee will kick off for the Volunteers to start the fourth quarter of play. A lot of people still hanging around here, and the reason is they want to see these young players. They want to see people like Clausen and Leonard Scott and some of the youngsters, Baker in the secondary, and some of the others, Jabari Greer that we've seen today with the block kick. And some of the linemen too, like Witten, who has a pass reception. Here's the kickoff, and a little bit of a hole there out to the 30-yard line comes H.J. Adams for the Indians. Tad Golden, safety, made the stop for Tennessee. Well, there's the scoring drive. 9 plays, 57 yards, took 3:49 off the clock. 9-yard catch from Wilson to cap it. Yeah, they're the folks who have stayed. Most of them still in their rain gear. I guess expecting the rain to return, Terrence, or maybe they've just got snug down there. Happy, got that warm, fuzzy feeling.
That's a 10-yard penalty. First down.
Blocking in the back was the call, and it nullified what was a pretty good return there and pulls the Indians back to the 20-yard line where they will put it in play. First down and 10 to go. Chance comes back in at quarterback. He was relieved in the last series by Corcoran, but he's back now. Chance is 13 out of 26 for 92 yards today, and he picks up a little more yardage right there. His receiver is pushed out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Brooks Greer, 5'10", 163-pound freshman on the receiving end.
I think Tennessee's going to allow Louisiana-Monroe to make these throws, Bob, and come up and make for sure tackles. You don't want to give them anything. You don't want to take a chance and give them a big play downfield.
No, certainly not. And Teddy Gaines was the guy who was there to make sure he didn't go downfield. Len Magruder is in now, defensive player. That's a true freshman at tackle for Tennessee. He wears number 54 if you want to keep an eye on him. There's the handoff, and he may have been right in the middle of that. Bernard Jackson had nowhere to go. There is number 54. Big kid from Las Vegas who has a great future ahead of him. A lot of people say he looks like Warren Sapp. If he plays about a third as well as Warren Sapp, he'll earn his scholarship here, huh?
Warren Sapp's one of the better football players in the National Football League. If he has a chance of playing up to 50% of the way Warren Sapp plays, then Tennessee's in for a treat.
There's Bernard Jackson going to the sidelines, defensive end. They've been shaken up just a little bit on the last play, but nothing obviously very serious. All right, they're looking now at a 3rd down and 5. The Indians are. 13 minutes and 59 seconds remaining in the contest, and confusion down there by Monroe. They want to call a timeout to make sure they've got something here that will pick up 5 yards and try to keep a drive alive. 13:59 remaining in the homecoming contest here. Tennessee Volunteers have had their way. They're leading 56-3 over Monroe of Louisiana. For fast, reliable internet access, subscribe to Big Orange Online. Big Orange Online is the ultimate internet service provider for UT fans, delivering low-cost nationwide service. Big Orange Online email addresses plus privileged access to past Vol broadcasts. In addition, you'll receive online media guides, archives, video highlights, plus continuous news updates on the Vols. Subscribe to Big Orange Online for only $17.95 per month by visiting volmall.com or bigorangeonline.net. Monroe has 40 yards rushing today, 19 carries for 40 yards. So their running game has been virtually non-existent, and not enough to really cause Tennessee any concern in that area. Of course, Tennessee leading the conference in run defense. Terrence coming in, I think, giving up like 55 yards. So extremely good against the run, even against very good teams, and Monroe would not be in the good team category. Oh my goodness. D'Angelo Lloyd on a kamikaze move there. And we've got some players down, shaken up a little bit here, including Andy Chance, who really took a shot from Lloyd. I'm not sure he knows exactly where he is right now.
Bob, he may be out of it. And as well, D'Angelo Lloyd just comes free up the middle, and just Chance looking the other direction. Lloyd just delivers a huge impact on him, pushes that shoulder down into the ground. Just a great play by D'Angelo Lloyd.
That's almost like the sternum hit on Titans quarterback McNair, right in the chest. Brings up a punting situation, and the kick is taken by Tennessee at the 48-yard line. We have a new receiver in there, Rashad Baker. They put the true freshman back there. He's an all-around athlete. Came here as a receiver. Such a good athlete, they needed him in the secondary, moved him to safety. He started today at safety, and now they took a look at him as a punt returner. And why not? You got that kind of athletic ability, use him. 34-yard punt, minus a yard on the return, but he did catch the football. So Tennessee always likes receivers back there, Terrence. Men who can't catch the football. And
you want your sure-handed guys back there to catch the football. Tennessee taking this opportunity to give all of their returners an opportunity to catch the football, and an opportunity in inclement weather to catch the football, and it's going to be beneficial to them as the season goes on.
13:04 remaining in the contest. Tennessee getting a look at a lot of players, getting a look at some guys who are doing different things, such as Rashad Baker did right there. And showing some prospects here that if you come to Tennessee, you'll have a chance to play, because they do play a lot of people. They dressed 121 today. Of course, Terrence, a lot of those kids are walk-ons who do practice hard, and they deserve a chance to get out and get into game uniform and get on the sideline.
You're right, and the walk-ons contribute extensively to the Tennessee program. They're the guys that give you the looks. They're the scout teams. They're the guys that are the Louisiana-Monroes and the Floridas from Monday through Friday.
Ball is on the 49-yard line of the Vols. They're taking over, first down and 10 to go, leading 56-3. Eric Locke is lining up as the quarterback in the shotgun, and he peels it off to the right and gets positive yardage down to about the 44-yard line. Thought we'd see him before this game is over. They have some packages where he throws out of it, also runs out of it, and also lines up as a receiver from time to time.
I think this was run all the way, Bob, and I think if Eric keeps his feet, he may still be running.
He's hard to bring down. His low center of gravity, maybe 5'7", but very, very strong guy. This was a great quarterback in high school at Riverdale in Murfreesboro. Went to Alabama, then transferred back to Tennessee. Here's the quarterback firing. It is complete to Cedric Wilson. We've got Casey Clausen in there throwing to Cedric Wilson, and it's a little bit of a surprise that Cedric is still in the ball game right now.
Bob, this is a good play for several reasons. One thing I like is the ability of Tennessee and Troy Fleming to pick up the blitzer coming. I really like the way Casey Clausen stepped in and made a deep throw to Cedric Wilson.
Kept looking to make sure it was number 14. I thought he was gone by now, but he's still in there, and he deserves to get some catches too, because he has a chance to move up the ladder, and I think that's why they still have him in there. Here's the delay to Fleming. Fleming, the fullback, gets a little bit of yardage off his right tackle, number 27, who picked up quite a bit of weight in the past year. He's up in the high 230s now, 236 or 37, and probably by this time next year will be in the 245 range. That's where they like their fullbacks. Unless you're a Sean Bryson who can run a 4.2, they don't care how big you are. You know?
And John Stuckey's going to take every opportunity he can to get these guys in the weight room and get some size on them and some strength.
Sean Bryson having a great year for the Buffalo Bills. Here's Clausen back, firing, and it's there. Touchdown, Cedric Wilson. That should be it for Cedric now. Yeah, you're right, Russ. 62-3, Clausen with his third touchdown pass of the day. I don't want to be judgmental here, Terrence. You played as a receiver at Tennessee, but Clausen looks awfully good.
He looks very good, Bob. And as we talked about before the game, we talked about how he's going to play today. We talked about if he plays well, the quarterback position is wide open again.
It's wide open. He might play himself into a starting role pretty soon. There's the extra point by Walls, and it becomes a 63-3 ball game with 11 minutes and 13 seconds to go. Tennessee, folks, is not piling it on here. What they're doing is they're just giving these kids a chance to do something they haven't seen them do in a game, and that's throw the football. They haven't seen Clausen do that because he hasn't been in a game. Tennessee, so they need to see what he can do.
Excuse me, Bob. Tennessee goes with a 4 wide out set, and Clausen just throws a beautiful ball, Bob. Great touch on the football. Cedric Wilson catches it 2 feet in, touchdown.
And Cedric rather happy. So is Clausen. So are the fans. Monroe is not. 63-3. Tennessee will be kicking off now. And there you see the sideline. And a lot of people have played in this game. Most of them that were eligible to play have played. Feel sorry for Bobby Keesler and his staff because they have been totally outmanned from the time they got off the bus, and you knew that coming in, but quite frankly I didn't know it would be this bad. I thought we were looking maybe a 48-7 type ball game today, but somewhere in that neighborhood, Terrence. But Tennessee has played extremely well, and Monroe has not. H.J. Adams, who's had a busy day returning kicks.
And we talked about how Tennessee would play today after the disappointing loss to Florida. You wonder if they were going to have a letdown today. I think they've answered that question, Bob. I think they put that game behind them. I think the meeting that the captains and the seniors had with Philip Fulmer, I think it's been great for this football team.
Looks like Corcoran is coming back in at quarterback, number 7, a freshman who played briefly here in the second half for the Indians. And the reason not only has been that Chance has been unable to move the football, but he suffered a real hard hit. In fact, I think he was a little bit about half conscious when he came off the field after the D'Angelo Lloyd hit in the last series. Handoff is to the tailback, trying to slide outside and still trying to slide. Tennessee chases him down nicely, though, and makes the stop. Mark Jones was the guy who made that stop. There's another freshman for you right there. We're seeing a lot of young guys in here for Tennessee, and they're looking pretty good. Above all else, when Tennessee recruits, they recruit speed, and it shows glaringly right here. Second down, still 10 yards to go, no gain on the play. Corcoran at quarterback. Back to throw, got a little bit of time and fires complete, and it'll be a first down up to the 35-yard line. Mark Vincent was the receiver. There's the youngster, Corcoran. Take a look at this one, Terrence. He had a little time to throw, and he made the most of it.
Has a good time to throw it. I like he puts a lot of zip on the ball, puts it only where his guy can catch it. Really good throw by a freshman quarterback.
Tad Golden was the safety coming up, but couldn't quite get there in time. So it's a first down and 10 to go for the Indians from Monroe, Louisiana. Delay handoff to the tailback, nothing. You're just not going to run on Tennessee. You might break one every now and then, but it's going to be so few and so far between. Kevin Young made the stop. There's another youngster for you. Right defensive end, 6'4", 255-pound freshman. Now, a couple of guys, several of them, they want a red shirt this year, and you will not be seeing them today. People like Sean Young, a big offensive tackle, although they say he has the ability right now. But there's so many guys out there, why waste a year for him, you know? You're
right. Another name is Resper that comes to mind.
Here's the snap out of the shotgun. Deep pressure, and the quarterback is knocked down, but he did get the pass off, but it was incomplete because of the real pressure that Tennessee exerted on him that time.
I think Andre James was the first one to get to the football for Tennessee on that play, Bob. What's amazing is Tennessee goes to maybe their second, some of their third string guys, not a big drop off. One of the things that still comes to mind is the speed.
You see the secondary play pretty well blanketing things that time. So it brings up a 3rd and 12 with the ball at the 33-yard line of the Indians. Corcoran back to throw, throws the little slant in there, and it's going to pick up some positive yardage, but not enough for a first down. Keith Stevenson made the catch, and Rashad Baker made the stop.
Louisiana-Monroe runs a little wide receiver screen, gets the ball in the middle. Really good play against some young Tennessee defensive backs.
But it came up short of 3 yards short of a first down, so Monroe, trailing 63-3, decides, hey, let's just kick it away. Honeycutt will be back to kick now for the Monroe team. Got a low snap. Had to hurry his kick, got knocked down, but no flag. Yeah, late flag did come down. Tennessee with a good return, but it's going to all be brought back. Still running is Baker. Rashad Baker showing his athletic ability, even though it may be brought back. That shows how good he can be. There he is, number 16, in returning the football all the way back into Monroe territory. But there was a flag down, and it looks like we will have Constantine Richmond charged with roughing the kicker. Or at least not probably roughing, but running into the kicker.
And running into the kicker on the defense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the critical part of that call, is that it gives you a first down. Let's take a look and see.
Bob, you wonder if on this play, I think Richmond was blocked into the kicker.
Was.
I think the referees blew that call.
In fact, the Monroe guy may have been the guy who actually hit his own player. Here's Baker's run. But, man, this is a bright spot right here. Look at this.
Baker, just an extremely great athlete. 4th on Tennessee's depth chart at a punt returner, but almost taking that one the distance.
Referee waited a long time before tossing that flag, and it appears in the replays he shouldn't have. But, you know, it's 63-3, so why not, huh? 8 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the contest. Tennessee before the homecoming crowd in Knoxville, dominating the Monroe team 63-3. Cedric Wilson with 2 touchdowns today has 15 for his career. That ties him for 5th place with Tim McGee. So that's why they left him in a little longer today. Give him a chance to move up the ladder. He's a captain. He's a leader. He's a hard worker. He's everything you want in a football player, to be honest with you. Came here out of Memphis Melrose as a quarterback, a little skinny kid that people said, hey, can he play football? Answer is, he can play football.
He surely can, Bob, and he's a guy that wants to win every battle, whether it be in practice or in the game.
There's a fan. About to doze off on us right there. We need to crank up the band a little bit. 3 receivers set on the right side, 1 on the left. Cochran in the shotgun position, and they blow the whistle and stop the play. Some infraction, either offside or movement on the line. We'll get the official's word here in just a moment, but it's going to look like it might go against
Prior to
Monroe.
the snap, false start. Offensive line, 5 yards, still first down.
Monroe backing up and will accept a 5-yard penalty against the Indians. Philip Fulmer, be interesting to see what he says after the game. I think he's going to be happy with it. Let's look and see if we can see it. Yep, right tackle.
Right tackle flinch there.
Still 8 minutes, 14 seconds of football remaining here in Knoxville. Ball's in their 3rd straight home game. Quarterback gets a big rush, gets it off. To his credit, I don't know how he did. It's complete up to the 45-yard line. Tennessee buried him just as he released it. And Richie Zimmerman, the wide receiver, who's the 3 deep on the depth chart, made the catch.
Pressure coming up the middle from a lot of Tennessee players. Bob, I like the gutsiness of this freshman quarterback, standing there, taking the hit, still delivering the pass.
Well, Tennessee has put Chance out of the ball game. They addled him just a couple of series ago, so he has had to leave. Cochran out of the shotgun again, gets big pressure again, and just this time the pressure is too much. Threw it at the feet of the intended receiver. Cochran gesturing to the bench. He's unhappy about something. I would imagine about many different things, as a matter of fact.
A lot of things falling apart for Louisiana-Monroe.
Ball got deflected there, didn't it?
Yes, I think it did. I'm trying to see who that was that deflected the ball for
It may be
Tennessee.
Witten. They've got Witten in now at defensive end. They had him in earlier as a tight end. So number 1 on your screen is now back on defense. So Tennessee really experimenting with some of their guys here. Cochran goes into the shotgun looking at a 3rd and 12. He's going to run it, and he's not going to pick up much. He's dropped after a couple of yards by Lynn Magruder, freshman tackle from Nevada. Lynn is 6'1", 291 pounds. Quite frankly, he doesn't look like a freshman. If you see him in person without the headgear, you would guess him to be a junior or a senior. Very mature guy.
Bob, that's one of the things I noticed. A lot of these guys, when they come in, don't look like freshmen. Not the way we looked like freshmen when I stepped out of the car coming from Sweetwater as an 18-year-old.
Look a little different now, huh? Here's the kick. And Tennessee fields it at the 20. Out to the 25, 26-yard line is Eric Parker, number 80. Like the looks of that. Eric gets up limping a little bit, but now he jogs off. He's okay. He's a tough guy. And as we've said before, Eric Parker has no fear.